Chapter 450. It was an earth-shattering baleful aura that carried with it the aura of slaughtering the common people. In the face of this baleful chi, Shirkuan felt his breathing become sluggish. His chi instantly became chaotic. There seemed to be an illusion of a sea of blood appearing in front of his eyes. Each of the sea of blood was filled with the experts he had killed before. Along the way, countless vein opening, harmonious spirit, gold core, nascent soul, and spirit-severing realm cultivators were buried in this sea of evil chi, turning into traces of evil chi. This wave of baleful chi actually contained the ferocious might of the deaths of dozens of void refinement realm experts. Moreover, there was also the baleful chi left behind by void inquiry stage old monsters. Shirkuan let out a loud shout and released all the mana in his body. Pieces of green stone scales appeared on his body. Just now, he was barely able to block the pressure, but he was already sweating profusely and shocked. He couldn't imagine what kind of powerhouse could have killed so many powerhouses and accumulated such a shocking amount of evil energy. Could it be an unrivaled void inquiry stage old monster? How could Shirkuan dare to offend an old monster of that level? Shirkuan was only barely able to block the baleful aura. His son and the 5 imperial advisors he brought were directly injured by the baleful aura. The 5 half-step void refinement realm imperial advisors were bleeding from their mouths and teeth. Their primordial spirits were in excruciating pain. Shirkuan's son had the lowest cultivation base. He was only at the peak nascent soul realm. Among the young geniuses of the current Rain world, he might be considered as a heavenly pride. However, in Ningfan's eyes, he was just a speck of dust, an ant. Shirkuan's son felt as if he had suffered a heavy blow to his chest. The immortal veins in his body were broken and the 1,000-year-old snowwood chair that he was sitting on was directly shattered by the baleful chi. He knelt on the ground and coughed out blood incessantly. He was almost killed by Ningfan's baleful chi. Zhu Qing, Dong Su, and several giant devil elders were also shocked. Ningfan's baleful chi did not suppress them. However, just sensing the ferocious might of his baleful chi made them feel suffocated. Many gazes were fixed on the young man who was slowly walking into the evening snow pavilion. All of them were filled with disbelief. It's Ningfan. However, even Dong Su, who had a deep understanding of Ningfan, could not imagine that the current Ningfan had already become this strong. Only Su Qiuling's eyes were still as calm as before. Her clear and cold eyes were staring at Ningfan. Her smile was like a crescent moon, which was so beautiful that it could move one's soul. "Big brother, you're back." Come back, not come. It was because wherever she was, the edge of the world would be his home. No matter where he goes, it would be his home. Ling, I'll take care of this matter. You can rest assured. For your sake, I can guarantee the safety of the giant devil today. No one will be able to hurt him. Ningfan nodded at Su Qiuling with a smile. Then, he left Elder Fu Bai and the 2 ladies behind and walked towards Shirkuan alone. Every step he took felt like he was stepping on the great Tao. With every step, an even sharper aura would rise and stab towards Shirkuan. Seeing Ningfan walking towards him step by step, Shirkuan's face turned as grim as iron. He could already tell that Ningfan was not a void inquiry stage old monster like he had imagined. Instead, he was just a half-step void refinement realm expert. Thinking that he was frightened by a divine transformation realm junior, thinking that a divine transformation realm junior dared to ruin his plan, dared to hurt his son, the imperial master, Shirkuan's expression became even more gloomy, his killing intent surging. Zhoming? The newly appointed revered elder of the Rain Palace? A mere soul formation venerable elder actually dares to be rude to me, courting death. Do you know that even the Void Refinement Realm Palace Lord of the Rain Palace has to treat me as an equal? Who do you think you are? Shirkuan was not a member of the Rain Palace. Even though he had heard about Ningfan's identity as a revered elder of the Rain Palace, he did not know how highly regarded Ningfan was by the Rain Sovereign. Currently, Shirkuan only wanted to obtain the Void Inquiry Pill. After seeing Ningfan's true cultivation base, he no longer put him in his eyes. Ning Fan stopped walking and stared at Shi Kun coldly from a distance of 3 zhang. Shi Kun also released his aura force. After all, he was an old monster who was unrivaled among Void Glimpse stage experts. When he unleashed his full aura force, he certainly would not lose to Ning Fan. With a flick of his sleeves, he helped his son up. Looking at the severe injuries of his son whose immortal veins were completely destroyed, Shi Kun's killing intent towards Ning Fan rose to another level. "Father, kill him. Crush the giant devil clan and avenge me," his son said viciously. "Don't worry. Even if I offend the Zhou clan today and the Rain Palace will punish me severely, I will still annihilate the giant devil clan and avenge you." Stone killing technique. Shi Kun tossed his half-crippled son to the 5 imperial advisors. With a wave of his hand, he displayed a teleportation technique and sent the imperial advisors and the others 100,000 li away. Then he took a step forward. With the immense strength of his golden body, he stomped on the ground. The force of his stomp turned into an unimaginable destructive storm, directly turning the entire evening snow pavilion into dust. The destructive force was still spreading. Within 100,000 li, countless snowy mountains were destroyed by Shi Kun's stomp. After that tremendous force spread, countless broken rocks on the ground seemed to be possessed by ghosts. They gathered together and formed several gigantic rock arms. Each of them was 1,000 zhang tall. Tens of thousands of rock arms stretched out from the ground. They clenched into fists and hurled themselves at Ning Fan and the others. Each of the gigantic rock fists was powerful enough to kill a divine transformation realm expert. When tens of thousands of gigantic rock fists attacked at the same time, even a void refinement realm old monster would find it hard to survive. Such a terrifying magic technique fluctuation caused the land within 70 million li of the entire cold northern country to tremble slightly as if there was an earthquake. Countless cultivators soared into the sky and looked in the direction of the province of the cold northern country. How could they not know that there were experts fighting in that direction? Each of the old monsters used the teleportation formation within the country to rush to the province. The old monsters who were near the battlefield also turned into rays of traveling light and flew towards the battlefield to find out what was going on. Many of the old monsters who hurried to the battlefield were shocked and exclaimed in surprise when they saw Shi Kun summoning tens of thousands of rock arms. "Isn't this man Shi Kun, the king of Shi Lu country? Why did he appear in the endless sea?" This is the technique that Shi Kun is proud of, the stone-killing technique. Shi Kun cultivates the ghost stone divine veins which allows him to control tens of thousands of rocks with the power of ghosts and gods. In the past, he severely injured an early void refinement realm expert with just a single move of the stone-killing technique. He actually used such a terrifying magic technique in the territory of the giant devil clan. Could it be that he wants to destroy the entire clan? Shi Kun is an unrivaled expert among the Void Glimpse stage experts. In the entire Rain world, he is a famous old monster. Why would he come to the giant devil clan to cause trouble? The two of them have nothing to do with each other. There shouldn't be any hatred between them. This doesn't make sense. Say, do you guys think it's because of the Void Inquiry pill? The giant devil clan does not have a Void Refinement Realm expert, but they still held the pill ceremony on their own and invited pill refinement grandmasters to help them complete their missions. They even took out a mid-grade 6th Revolution pill as a reward. A mid-grade 6th Revolution Void Inquiry pill. This is something that will drive many Void Glimpse stage old monsters crazy. Sigh, it doesn't matter why Shi Kun has enmity with the giant demon clan. Since he has made a move, the giant demon clan will definitely be exterminated today. There is no need to watch anymore. This elixir ceremony can no longer be held. All of us have come to the giant demon clan to watch the ceremony in vain. All the old monsters sighed, but no one thought that the giant demon clan could withstand Shi Kun's anger. Under Shi Kun's control, tens of thousands of stone arms clenched into fists and smashed down. The tremendous power was enough to flatten mountains and rivers. Zhu Qing, Dong Su, and all the other giant devil elders knew that this technique was not something they could defend against when they saw how powerful it was. Su Qiuling, Yuling Kong, and Fen Qi, on the other hand, were calm and composed. Each of them had endless confidence in Ning Fan. They did not think that Ning Fan would lose to Shi Kun at all. You don't have to do anything this time. Let me do it. All of you retreat further away. Ning Fan pointed a finger at them. Countless traces of black smoke rolled up the people behind him and sent them out of the battlefield. He raised his head and looked at the innumerable stone fists. His eyes were filled with disdain. He did not try to dodge them and just let them smash down on him. Boom, boom, boom. Tens of thousands of fist lights engulfed Ning Fan. The ground cracked. Wind and snow flew everywhere. Smoke and dust engulfed heaven and earth. No one could clearly see whether Ning Fan was dead or alive under the fist lights. Shi Kun smiled coldly. He could clearly feel that all of the fist lights had hit Ning Fan. In his opinion, Ning Fan was dead for sure. Each of the old monsters who were watching from the side. Even though they could not see clearly and did not even know who was fighting against Shi Kun, most of them were certain that Ning Fan had died under the fist lights. The wind and snow dispersed. The smoke and dust dispersed. Above the ruins of the mountains and rivers, Ning Fan, who was wearing white robes and golden armor, slowly appeared. His black hair danced wildly like a devil. His golden armor shone brilliantly like a heavenly deity. When the tens of thousands of fist lights landed on his golden armor, it only caused faint ripples of lightning light. It could not cause any damage to the golden armor at all. Shi Kun's expression changed drastically. When he saw the golden armor on Ning Fan's body, he was filled with disbelief. What kind of golden armor is that? It's not a magic treasure but an illusion formed by a magic technique. It's just an illusion formed by a magic technique. Yet, it easily blocked my full-powered attack. How is this possible? Shi Kun was not a cultivator of the Endless Sea. Thus, he naturally did not know about Ning Fan's crazy battle achievements. At this moment, he began to realize that he had underestimated Ning Fan. This young man was definitely not as simple as a half-step void refinement realm cultivator. Countless old monsters stared at Ning Fan, who looked like a heavenly deity clad in golden armor. Each of them did not even dare to breathe loudly. Only then did they gradually realize that the young man who was fighting against Shi Kun was actually the #1 devil lord of the Endless Sea, Ning Fan. Exclamations rose again. However, this time, not everyone supported Shi Kun's victory. It's venerated Ming. That young man who looks like a heavenly deity clad in golden armor is definitely venerated Ming. There's no doubt about it. Is venerated Ming standing up for the giant devil clan? Venerated Ming's infamy is not any lower than Shi Kun's. Isn't that venerated moon standing over there? Venerated Ming, venerated moon, and 4 void glimpse stage spiritual puppets. It seems like Shi Kun will be the unlucky one this time. Venerated Moon doesn't seem to want to make a move, and Venerated Ming doesn't seem to want to summon his puppet either. Do they want to fight with Shi Kun with their own strength? Even though Revered Ming had once killed Lu Jiefan with a single punch, Shi Kun is an unrivaled expert among Void Glimpse stage experts. He is completely not on the same level as Lu Jiefan. It's hard to predict the outcome of this battle. However, Venerated Ming's golden armor seems a little familiar. This old man seems to have heard of it somewhere before. That's right, this is. The devils of the Endless Sea were all shocked, and their eyes were burning. They remembered what the golden armor was. This is the armor of primordial lightning. This was the supreme technique that made the Thunder Sovereign famous. It's rumored that the armor of primordial thunder is extremely difficult to cultivate. Other than the Thunder Sovereign, no one in the Zhou clan is able to cultivate it to the level of golden armor or above. To think that Revered Ming has actually done it. For Revered Ming to possess such a technique, it further proves that the Zhou clan has a close relationship with Revered Ming. We cannot afford to offend him. For him to be able to cultivate this technique to such a level, it shows that his talent is shocking and unparalleled. The Thunder Sovereign's secret technique is actually going to flourish in the hands of Revered Ming. As the devils of the Endless Sea, there was no one who did not admire the Thunder Sovereign. It was a kind of worship that was close to fanaticism. Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou had fought against the three sovereigns of the Sword World all by himself without being defeated. He had made a name for himself, and his name had once spread far and wide in the Rain World. He was a legendary expert. The fact that the secret technique of such an expert appeared in Ning Fan's body made countless old monsters excited. At this moment, countless old monsters even wondered if Ning Fan would become the next Thunder Sovereign Bu Zhou after 10,000 years, since he was so ferocious. We must befriend this young man. We must never offend him. His future is immeasurable. With the lightning armor protecting his body, Ning Fan stood firmly under the attacks of the stone fists. He was as steady as a mountain. Looking at the tens of thousands of stone fists that continued to attack him, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with cold light. Layers of illusory black dragons appeared on his arms. Heaven and earth were filled with the roars of angry dragons. Void technique, double dragon. When he punched out, the black dragons would fall. When he punched out with both punches, heaven and earth would die. At the moment when he punched out, Ning Fan's right arm shone with golden light. His strength actually did not lose to the first level of the Golden Body realm. Under the enhancement of the Corpse Devil Body, even though his strength was not as strong as the second level of the Golden Body realm, it was still slightly stronger than Shirkuan, who was a senior body cultivator. Rumbled at an unparalleled fist light blasted out. Tens of thousands of stone arms were crushed by Ning Fan's fists. Shirkuan's eyes widened in disbelief. The countless stone arms that he had formed with his full strength were actually destroyed by Ning Fan with a single punch. He did not want to admit it, but he had no choice but to admit that Ning Fan's body refinement realm was actually slightly higher than his. Not good. While he was in a daze, Ning Fan's figure flashed and suddenly disappeared. Then, he appeared behind Shirkuan. A strong sense of danger filled his heart. It made Shirkuan suddenly turn his head and collide with Ning Fan's fist bones. Rumble. Both of their fists collided with each other. Both of them used their full strength. Ning Fan took a few steps back continuously. He was inwardly surprised. Shirkuan's body refinement realm was not ordinary. Perhaps his strength could be considered as above average among the first level of the Golden Body realm. He only took a few steps back, but Shirkuan had taken hundreds of steps back. Every step he took, he would cough out a mouthful of blood. Every step he took would shatter countless mountains and rivers. He had actually suffered serious injuries during the exchange of blows with Ning Fan. How is this possible? Shirkuan could not imagine that not only was his physical body weaker than Ning Fan's, but it was also not just by a little bit. He could not understand why Ning Fan's physical body was so strong even though he had not completely broken through to the Golden Body realm. Chapter 451. After injuring Shirkuan with a single punch, Ning Fan's long hair fluttered in the wind. He approached Shirkuan in a ray of traveling light and fought against him with the strength of his physical body. Shirkuan became even more astonished. Every time his punches and kicks collided with Ning Fan, he would feel as if he was hit by 1,000 mountains, causing his chest and abdomen to hurt. He had always been proud of the fact that he was unrivaled among Void Glimpse stage cultivators in both body and magic power. He was especially proud of the strength of his physical body. Today, however, his magic power was obviously higher than Ning Fan's, but he lost to him in terms of physical strength. How could he remain calm? The green stone scales on his body were shattered by Ning Fan one after another. Seeing that the injuries on his physical body were worsening, Shirkuan's eyes turned ruthless. He suddenly threw a punch at Ning Fan, using the force of the collision to increase the distance between them. He patted his storage pouch and took out a black jade bottle. With a pained expression, he crushed the jade bottle. There was only a drop of black liquid in the jade bottle. As the jade bottle was crushed, it flowed out. It was as viscous as blood and filled with vast energy. Shirkuan sucked it into his stomach and refined it. All of a sudden, strange black scales appeared on Shirkuan's physical body. His chi became even more gloomy. However, his physical body was slightly stronger than before. It was now almost on par with Ning Fan's. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He could naturally tell that the black liquid was some kind of secret blood medicine that could increase the strength of one's physical body within a short period of time. Many old monsters in the surroundings sucked in a cold breath. Obviously, they had recognized the origin of the black liquid. The core blood of a sovereign beast. There's no mistake. This is the core blood of a sovereign beast. It's demon blood that is secretly refined from the demon core of a sovereign beast. The energy contained in a drop of the core blood of a sovereign beast is almost equivalent to that of a sovereign beast's demon core. What? A sovereign beast? That's a ferocious beast comparable to a void fragmentation realm expert. The energy contained in the core blood of a sovereign beast is violent. Even a void refinement realm old monster would need to use countless spiritual herbs to harmonize the energy in order to refine a drop of the core blood of a sovereign beast. Even if Shirkuin is unrivaled among void glimpse stage experts, it's impossible for him to directly consume the core blood of a sovereign beast. You're right. This isn't the true core blood of a sovereign beast. It has already been diluted. It has probably only been 100% of its energy. That's why Shirkuin could directly consume it. Even if it is a diluted sovereign beast core blood, its value is still immeasurable. I didn't expect Shirkuin to be so fearful of venerated Ming. They had just exchanged blows for a short while, and he had already started to consume the secret medicine. Just like what the old monsters had said, the value of a sovereign beast's core blood was immeasurable. If it wasn't because Ning Fan had pushed him too hard, Shirkuin would certainly not be willing to consume this bottle of diluted core blood. He had once found the corpse of a sovereign beast in some ruins by chance. He dug out a beast core from the corpse and used a secret technique to refine a drop of sovereign beast core blood. 4 golden body cultivators. Imperial beast core blood was a rare body-tempering treasure. Shirkuin had kept that drop of sovereign beast core blood in his storage pouch all this time, keeping it close to him. He could not bear to give it to anyone. He was only willing to dilute a bit of core blood from the core blood and store it in a jade bottle as a secret medicine to temporarily increase his strength at a critical moment. If it wasn't for the fact that his physical body was weaker than Ning Fan's, he would definitely not be willing to consume this secret medicine. After consuming the secret medicine, Shirkuin's entire body was covered with black scales. His strength increased tremendously. Both of his fists were wide open, carrying an unparalleled aura force. He actually managed to block Ning Fan's attacks. As the battle continued, Shirkuin's aura force became stronger and stronger. Even though he had a bad character, his strength was not to be underestimated. He was definitely a famous figure in the Rain world. Stone swords. Shirkuin's aura force reached its peak. His eyes flashed with brutal killing intent. He made a grabbing motion with one of his hands. Countless broken stones on the ground suddenly flew up and condensed into a gigantic green stone sword. That gigantic green stone sword was also condensed by a magic technique. It was a low-grade mortal void magic technique. As soon as the sword light condensed, Shirkuin raised his sword and slashed. A green sword light swept across heaven and earth. The vast sky of tens of thousands of li was cut into pieces by the sword light, revealing the dark and gloomy hollow space. That ray of sword light was enough to kill any cultivator below the void refinement realm. Countless cultivators who were watching the battle held their breaths. However, Ning Fan was not bothered by such a powerful sword light at all. With the dazzling golden armor protecting his body, Ning Fan was like an ancient deity. He let the sword light slash on his golden armor without dodging at all. The slash of the sword light gave off a heaven-destroying and earth-shattering sound. The sword chi that leaked out pierced through countless layers of clouds. However, no matter how sharp the sword light was, it could not leave a single scratch on the golden armor. Ning Fan remained unscathed after taking on Shirkuin's slash head-on. The sturdiness of the primordial lightning armor once again shocked the world. Countless old monsters were speculating that perhaps even Void Inquiry stage old monsters would not be able to break through such a sturdy lightning armor. As long as Ning Fan has the lightning armor, Shirkuin would not be able to hurt him at all. In this battle, Ning Fan was already in an invincible position. Shirkuin fell into deep astonishment. He could not believe that he, a dignified old monster who was unrivaled among Void Glimpse stage experts, could not hurt a half-step Void Refinement Realm Junior. How could this be possible? Art of self-manifestation. Ning Fan took a step forward. Golden light shone around his body and condensed into two golden shadows. The two golden shadows were both at the first level of the golden body refining realm. One man and two shadows surrounded Shirkuan in an instant and launched their strongest attacks without mercy. Patches of the vast sky were shattered by the two shadows. Shirkuan, who was at the center of the attacks, managed to block Ning Fan's attacks with his gigantic bluestone sword. However, his body was continuously hit by the two golden shadows, causing his injuries to gradually worsen. What kind of identity did he have? He was a dignified Void Refinement Realm old monster who could move unhindered in the Rain World, and the lord of a Void-grade cultivation country. However, he was actually beaten to such a sorry state by a junior. How could he tolerate that? Zhou Ming, don't you go too far. The matter between me and the Giant Devil Clan has nothing to do with you at all. Why do you have to interfere? I won't accept this. Qi Shirkuan coughed out a few mouthfuls of blood essence. His gigantic bluestone sword gave off an extremely dangerous and ferocious light. With a horizontal slash, the sky was cut into pieces and the earth was split into two. That was Shirkuan's furious attack. With his strength that was unrivaled among Void Glimpse stage experts, it was already infinitely close to a Void Pierce stage attack. Such a powerful slash still could not break the lightning armor's defense. Ning Fan remained unscathed. The two golden shadows, on the other hand, had one of their arms and one of their legs severed by Shirkuan's furious slash. Both of them were already severely injured. Shirkuan laughed complacently. His eyes were filled with madness and ferocity. Each of these golden shadows was at the first level of the golden body refining realm. They had the strength of an ordinary Void Refinement Realm expert. But so what? Under Shirkuan's furious attack, even the golden shadows could only sustain severe injuries. Each of the old monsters who were watching the scene felt their hearts palpitate. The destructive power of that furious slash was enough to severely injure or even kill an ordinary Void Glimpse stage expert. Shirkuan's strength was indeed worthy of his reputation. The title of being unrivaled among Void Glimpse stage experts was definitely not groundless. Ning Fan's eyes turned slightly solemn. This Shirkuan was indeed very strong. If it was before he entered the Black Lightning Tower, he would certainly not be his opponent. However, after experiencing the trials in the Black Lightning Tower, Ning Fan's combat power had skyrocketed even though his cultivation base did not improve. Both his offensive and defensive techniques had improved tremendously. People like Shirkuan were no longer worthy of his attention. In his devil form, Ning Fan could kill a Void Inquiry stage expert. Facing Shirkuan, Ning Fan did not even need to transform into his devil form. He was very confident that he could kill Shirkuan on the spot. You've gone too far. Zhou Ming. You're just a revered elder of the Rain Palace. How dare you offend me? You deserve to die. Shirkuan raised his sword and thrust it at Ning Fan. He did not believe that he could not break the defense of Ning Fan's lightning armor. So what if I've bullied you? Ning Fan's black hair danced wildly in the air. His eyes flashed with a cold light. His right palm shone with thousands of rays of golden light, and he slammed his palm on Shirkuan's gigantic green stone sword. The force of that single slap was earth-shattering. Countless hollow spaces were forcefully shattered. When Shirkuan's sword was suddenly slapped by Ning Fan, he only felt an unparalleled force colliding with his sword. His gigantic sword immediately shattered. At the same time, the injuries of the two severely injured golden shadows behind him strangely healed in an instant. Then, they launched heavy attacks at Shirkuan's back. Boom boom, two rays of fist light landed on Shirkuan's back, shattering the black scale armor on his back. He fell from the sky like a kite with a broken string. He stared at the two golden shadows with extreme shock and anger. His face was filled with disbelief. How could this be? I've clearly severely injured your two golden shadows. Why can these two golden shadows recover in an instant? Shi Kun had no idea that these golden shadows were the product of the self-manifestation technique. Unless they were killed in a single blow, they could instantly recover no matter how severe their injuries were. With a loud bang, he crashed into the ground. His body created a gigantic pit that was several thousand zhang in size. When he crawled up from the pit, he was severely injured, but he was still alive. He was indeed worthy of his strength that was unrivaled among Void Glimpse stage experts. He raised his head and looked at Ning Fan. His eyes were filled with madness. A terrifying aura force spread out from his body. He had decided to use his strongest trump card to determine the victor of this battle. All the rocks on the ground beneath his feet began to move. It was extremely strange. Shi Kun's body emitted waves of evil ghostly light. His body began to grow in size in an instant. Tao of Ghost Stone, Stone God True Body. In just a few breaths' time, Shi Kun's body grew to 5,000 zhang tall, turning into a green stone giant. He held an ancient green stone shield in his left hand and a gigantic green stone sword in his right. He let out a furious roar like an ancient god. At this moment, Shi Kun's combat power was already infinitely close to the Void Inquiry stage. This is the Fiend God True Body. Each of the old monsters who were watching the battle was so shocked that they could not utter a single word. Some of them did not know the method of Shi Kun's magic technique. Thus, they chose to remain silent. Some of them recognized the essence of this magic technique. It was too shocking and they could not believe it. Many fiend god cultivation methods had secret techniques that allowed one to transform into a giant. However, there were also different levels of them. An ordinary giant transformation could only be called the giant body. Even though their physical bodies were strong, they could not display the abilities of the ancient fiend gods. However, if one could cultivate the giant body to the extreme, they could cultivate the true body and possess the abilities of the ancient fiend gods. They could even have the chance to imitate the ancient divine weapons of the ancient fiend gods. Shi Kun's son, who was almost killed by Ning Fan, looked at his father, who had turned into a giant, with a face full of pride and admiration. Imperial Advisor, you guys look. This is my father's strongest trump card, the Stone God True Body. The cultivation method that my father cultivates is a fiend god cultivation method called Ghost Stone Divine Technique. It is rumored to be a cultivation method left behind by a revered god of the ancient stone clan. Not only did my father cultivate the stone god True Body, but he also imitated the ancient divine weapons of that revered god. Look, the stone sword and stone shield that my father is holding are the divine weapons of that revered god. With these divine weapons in hand, no matter how strong that Zhou Ming is, he will not be a match for my father. Shi Kun's son did not conceal his voice at all. Those who were paying attention could hear him. Looking at Shi Kun, who had turned into a giant, they became even more fearful. From afar, an elderly man in golden robes and 5 pill masters were standing in the sky, watching the battle. The 5 pill masters were the pill masters of the Scarlet Heaven Palace who were severely injured by Ning Fan. As for the elderly man in golden robes, he was the palace lord of the Scarlet Heaven Palace, Missouri Xiu. Emo Xiu's eyes swept across the battlefield. When he passed by Ning Fan, a hint of anger flashed across his eyes. However, due to the Rain Sovereign's order, he suppressed his anger. His eyes swept across the giant Shi Kun, and for the first time, his expression turned solemn. The Fiend God True Body? This Shi Kun is really impressive. He has actually cultivated the Fiend God True Body and even imitated 2 ancient divine weapons. Even this old man would need to spend some effort to defeat Shi Kun. There's no need to watch anymore. Unless that Zhou Ming has a Void Inquiry stage cultivation base, he will definitely die today. Yuling Kong was anxious. She did not expect that Shi Kun had cultivated the Fiend God True Body. Little Cucumber was really in danger now. She wanted to save him. Even Su Qiuling, who was usually calm, revealed a worried expression. She felt uneasy. Fen Qi was also worried about Ning Fan. It was not easy for her to fall in love with a man. How could she bear to see him in danger? However, no matter how worried the 3 ladies were, none of them intervened in Ning Fan's battle. That was the battlefield that belonged to Ning Fan. What they should do now was to trust Ning Fan. They believed that he would win. They believed that he would not lose. If you are like an eagle, I will accompany you to conquer the world. If you are defeated, I will accompany you to make a comeback. Shikuan raised his head and laughed coldly. His voice was like thunder. Zhou Ming, ever since I condensed the stone god true body, this is my second time displaying it. For the first time, I used this true body to kill the strongest bandit cultivator in Shirla country. His laughter did not stop. Many old monsters were extremely shocked. Shirla country was once a country where bandits roamed freely. The strongest bandit leader was a Void Inquiry Stage old monster. That bandit leader's Void Inquiry Stage cultivation base had advanced to the next level using a secret technique. His cultivation base was superficial and he could be considered as the weakest among all Void Inquiry Stage experts. Even so, the weakest Void Inquiry Stage expert was still several times stronger than a Void Glimpse Stage expert. However, that bandit leader suddenly went missing and Shirla country was also wiped out by Shikuan alone. He killed countless bandits and took over the country. No one knew that the bandit leader was killed by Shikuan. The reason why Shikuan told everyone about this today was to let them know that he was so strong that he could even kill a Void Inquiry Stage expert, let alone a mere Ning Fan. The shield I hold in my left hand is called the 8-Chi shield. It can deflect all Void Glimpse Stage magic attacks. The sword I hold in my right hand is called the 10-Fist sword. A single sword can deliver the strength of 10 Void Glimpse Stage punches, which is comparable to a Void Inquiry Stage attack. Zhou Ming, since you are able to die under the sword and shield of my fiend god true body, you should die without regrets. Shikuan's laughter was unbridled as if he was confident that he could kill Ning Fan. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with impatience. He was fed up with it. The game ends here. He clawed with his 5 fingers and absorbed all the souls of the earth. His magic power was comparable to a Void Refinement Realm expert. He coughed out a mouthful of blood essence and suddenly summoned the 7 yellow dragon jade tokens. 7 layers of yellow skies appeared with great momentum. Each of the 7 layers of yellow skies was powerful enough to injure a Void Inquiry Stage expert and was comparable to a Void Inquiry Stage attack. The combined power of the 7 layers of yellow skies was comparable to a Void Pierce Stage attack. It was enough to severely injure a Void Inquiry Stage expert and kill all Void Glimpse Stage experts. What kind of magic treasure is this? It's impossible. You are just a Divine Transformation Realm Junior. How can you have such a magic treasure? How can you activate a magic treasure of this level? All of Shikuan's complacency turned into panic at this moment. His 8-Chi shield could deflect all Void Glimpse Stage attacks. However, each layer of Ning Fan's yellow skies had the destructive power of a Void Inquiry Stage expert. The combined power of the 7 heavens was comparable to a Void Pierce Stage attack. How could it be deflected? This is bad. We must run. The moment Ning Fan activated the Yellow Dragon 7 tokens, all of his arrogance turned into a sense of defeat. Each of the old monsters was shocked once again. Ning Fan actually had such a powerful technique. This kind of magic treasure was enough to make Void Inquiry Stage old monsters fearful. As long as he has this treasure in his hands, which Void Inquiry Stage old monster would dare to provoke him? Suppress. Ning Fan pointed a finger at the sky. The 7 layers of yellow skies fell down as if the sky was collapsing. That was the true might of the heavens. The weight of the 7 layers of yellow skies was immeasurable. The tremendous force of the impact flattened countless mountains and rivers. Shikuan waved his gigantic green stone sword and attacked desperately. Finally, he destroyed 1 layer of yellow skies, but it was suppressed by the other 6 layers of yellow skies. In just an instant, all of Shikuan's muscles and bones were crushed by the yellow skies. He let out a blood-curdling scream and his giant body was crushed into a pile of meat paste. It was unknown whether he was dead or alive. When the smoke and dust dispersed, the battlefield gradually quietened down. Shikuan had already left his true form and was lying on the ground like a pile of mud. He did not have the strength to move at all, but he was still breathing. As for Ning Fan, he stood indifferently in front of Shi Kun and said coldly, "I've told you that you can't afford to offend me. You just don't believe me." Cough cough. "Revered Elder Zhou, it's not appropriate for you to kill me. You can't. The Lord of Shi country, the Lord of the Rain Palace. Killing me is against the law of the world. You even know about the Rain Palace and the law of the world? You are the lord of a country conferred by the Rain Palace, while I am a revered elder conferred by the Rain Sovereign. You were the one who wanted to kill me first. The one who violated the law of the world is you. Even if you are the lord of a country, you should still be killed for trying to murder a revered elder of the Rain Palace." Boom Ning Fan took a step forward and crushed Shi Kun's head, causing his physical body to die instantly. At the same time, he pointed a finger at Shi Kun's dantian and struck his primordial spirit, which was trying to escape in a panic. The tiny primordial spirit let out a miserable shriek and died with reluctance. Ning Fan had killed the lord of Shi country, Shi Kun. Not only did he kill him, but before he died, he even accused him of plotting against a revered elder of the Rain Palace and violating the law of the world. Thus, no one could hold him accountable for this matter. With a wave of his hand, Ning Fan kept Shi Kun's storage pouch and scanned it with his spirit sense. There were a lot of good items inside. What made him especially satisfied was the jade bottle which sealed the core blood of a sovereign beast. The spoils of war were very generous. The moment when Ning Fan killed Shi Kun, countless old monsters were overwhelmed with shock. What did they just see? They actually witnessed the death of a Void Refinement Realm old monster with their own eyes. Moreover, that Void Refinement Realm old monster was the Lord of Shi country. He was a ruthless person who had killed a Void Inquiry stage expert before. He was an unrivaled existence among Void Glimpse stage experts. He died just like that. Since Ning Fan was able to kill Shi Kun, his strength was unfathomable. All of a sudden, countless old monsters who were watching from the sidelines fell silent. Their eyes were filled with fear and trepidation when they looked at Ning Fan. Unlike these old monsters, many cultivators of the giant devil clan who rushed to the scene learned about the cause and effect of Ning Fan killing Shi Kun. Knowing that Ning Fan had saved the giant devil clan from being annihilated, each of them felt grateful from the bottom of their hearts. "Venerated Ming is mighty." Their cheers resounded through the clouds and spread further and further. Eventually, it spread to the entire cold northern country. Chapter 452. Each of the cultivators rushed to the county and saw the shocking ruins of the battlefield. Within 100,000 li, all the mountains and rivers were in ruins. It looked extremely desolate under the white snow. No one would have thought that this place used to be an important place of the giant devil clan, the Evening Snow Pavilion. They did not have the chance to witness the earth-shattering battle between Ning Fan and Shi Kun. The only thing they could feel was the residual magic power in this place. It was an unprecedented battle. In this battle, Ning Fan had killed an unrivaled Void Glimpse stage old monster in a domineering manner. Moreover, this old monster was the lord of a Void Grade cultivation country with a respectable status. However, no one could say that Ning Fan was wrong to kill him. This time, Ning Fan stood on the side of morality and justice by using his identity as a revered elder of the Rain Palace. Shi Kun was wrong to murder the giant devil clan, but his crime did not warrant death. Shi Kun had the intention to kill Ning Fan, but it was a huge mistake. He would die in vain even if he died 10,000 times. Who was Ning Fan? He was someone whom the Rain Sovereign personally ordered not to be touched. Even Prince Lan Ling and the Palace Lord of the Scarlet Heaven Palace did not dare to touch him. Who did Shi Kun think he was? How dare he touch Ning Fan? Putting aside the fact that the Endless Sea was not restricted by the laws of the world, even if someone wants to pursue the matter, it would be because Shi Kun violated the laws of the world and attacked a revered elder of the Rain Palace. He deserved to die. No one could find any fault with Ning Fan. Moreover, if the Rain Palace finds out about this, they would suppress Shi Kun's descendants and hold him accountable for offending Ning Fan. For example, the Palace Lord of the Scarlet Heaven Palace, Missouri Xiu, who was at the scene that day, publicly declared that Ning Fan was not guilty of killing Shi Kun. Everyone knew that the Scarlet Heaven Palace and the Great Heaven Palace were on bad terms after the Rain Palace. Since they were from different factions, it was impossible for Mo Xiu to speak up for Ning Fan. However, he still did so. What did it mean? It meant that Ning Fan's identity in the Rain Palace was definitely not ordinary. Mo Xiu, who was from different factions, did not dare to provoke him. Shi Kun was dead and no one cared about him. Even though he deserved to die, it still made many old monsters feel miserable. No matter how peerless one was and how strong one's cultivation base was, once one makes a wrong step on the path of cultivation, it would result in death and the annihilation of one clan. Shi Kun had fallen. However, Ning Fan's infamy had spread throughout the internal Endless Sea, the external Endless Sea, even the 800 cultivation countries and the entire Rain world. Many old monsters claimed that Zhou Ming was the number one of the young generation in the Rain world. Well, Ning Fan had once again spread the name of the little rascal Zhou Ming who died a wrongful death. If the real Zhou Ming knew about this, he might wake up laughing. After the great battle, Ning Fan did not rest. Instead, he followed Zhu Qing and the others to another forbidden area of the giant devil clan. During the battle, he remained unscathed thanks to the protection of the lightning armor. However, at the very last moment, he sacrificed his own blood essence to forcefully activate the mid-grade mortal void yellow dragon 7 tokens to suppress Shi Kun. This injury of blood essence might be troublesome to ordinary people. However, to Ning Fan, who had the protection of the black stars which allowed him to heal himself under the starlight at all times, it was not worth mentioning at all. Giant Demon Clan, Sad Demon Palace. Ning Fan, Su Qiuling, Yuling Kong and Fen Qi sat on the guest seats. Many elders of the giant devil clan surrounded them. All of them were standing and thanking Ning Fan profusely. These elders of the giant devil clan were grateful to Ning Fan from the bottom of their hearts. If it wasn't for Ning Fan, the giant devil clan would certainly be in danger. Fortunately, Ning Fan acted in a domineering manner and killed Shi Kun. Not only did he keep the Void Inquiry Pill, but he also intimidated many old monsters who were coveting the Void Inquiry Pill. Shi Kun was the first old monster who took action against the Void Inquiry Pill. However, he certainly would not be the last one. In fact, there were still a few Void Glimpse stage old monsters who came from the 800 cultivation countries with the intention of seizing the Void Inquiry Pill of the giant devil clan. However, with Shi Kun as an example, probably no Void Glimpse stage old monster would dare to offend the giant devil clan anymore. The increase in Ning Fan's ferocious aura this time was also a good thing to the Six-Winged clan. It would be a greater deterrent to the Ghost Eye clan and the Misthorn clan. Everyone had witnessed the destructive power of the Yellow Dragon's 7 tokens. It could even severely injure a Void Inquiry stage expert. The strongest expert of the Misthorn clan was just a Void Inquiry stage expert. The Ghost Eye clan was stronger than the Misthorn clan, but they no longer dared to offend Ning Fan openly. Ning Fan had shown countless old monsters how domineering and arrogant he was. He even dared to kill the lord of a country that was conferred by the Rain Palace without hesitation. The reason why he did so openly was to let those who had ulterior motives understand how important he was to the Rain Palace and how they could not afford to offend him. He wanted to let everyone know that he had the support of the Rain Sovereign and that he was not even guilty of killing a monarch. He wanted to let everyone know that he had the Rain Sovereign's support and that he was extremely important to the Rain Palace. He wanted to let people know that others could not touch him, but he could kill them. So, don't provoke him, or else you will have to bear the consequences. He was borrowing the momentum of the Rain Palace. Ning Fan did not like trouble that came one after another. Thus, he chose to be more forceful and settle the matter once and for all. In the Sad Devil Palace, Ning Fan searched the souls and memories of Shi Kun's son and the 5 imperial advisors in front of Zhu Qing and the others. After that, he killed all 6 of them, eliminating them completely. From the memories of Shi Kun's son, Ning Fan learned about all of Shi Kun's conspiracies and informed the Giant Devil Clan about it. Shi Kun's purpose of coming to the Giant Devil Clan was indeed for the Void Inquiry Pill. However, not only did he want to obtain the Void Inquiry Pill, He even had a bold plan in mind, and that was to kidnap Feng Shuiyin. Shi Kuan's plan was to order his son to approach Feng Shuiyin and secretly kidnap her on the day before the ceremony. Then he blackmailed the giant devil clan with the excuse that Feng Shuiyin refused to have her tattoos tattooed on her. In this way, Shi Kuan would not only get the Void Inquiry pill but also Feng Shuiyin, who was a renowned tattoo master. Unfortunately, as soon as Shi Kuan's son broke into Feng Shuiyin's room, he was discovered by the maidservants. With a swoosh sound, Feng Shuiyin disappeared right in front of his eyes. It was extremely strange. Feng Shuiyin's tattoo technique had definitely reached the level of the best in the Rain world. Any body refinement cultivator whose devil marks were tattooed by Feng Shuiyin could greatly improve their body refinement realm. Shi Kuan was quite ambitious. He wanted to break through to the Void Inquiry stage using the Void Inquiry pill and use Feng Shuiyin to create an army of body refinement cultivators. If it wasn't for Ning Fan's interference, his scheme might have really succeeded. After learning about all of Shi Kuan's conspiracies, Zhu Qing was enraged. His giant devil clan had always kept a low profile just to fulfill the wishes of their 8 ancestors. However, the result of keeping a low profile was that they made others think that they were weak and easy to bully. Zhu Qing really wished that he could announce the strength of the giant devil clan to the world. He wanted the world to know that the strongest clan among the 4 clans of the Hidden Ocean was not the Ghost Eye clan but the giant devil clan. Unfortunately, he could not do that. All he could do was to endure it. All of his endurance was just for the sake of completing the redemption of his ancestors. Fellow Taoist Zhou, in the past, little Shanzi strongly recommended you and praised you to the skies. At that time, I didn't believe him. Now that I've seen you with my own eyes, I finally know that little Shanzi has a good eye. Very good. Qiuling has found a good partner. For her sake, you were willing to take care of the mess of my giant devil clan and even killed the king of a country. My giant devil clan owes you a favor. If fellow Taoist is in trouble, the giant devil clan is willing to repay fellow Taoist with all our strength. Zhu Qing cupped his fist solemnly. His heart was filled with gratitude towards Ning Fan. Ning Fan nodded his head and cupped his fists to return the gesture. Compared to the 6-winged clan which valued profits, the giant devil clan was obviously much more sentimental. At least, Ning Fan believed that the giant devil clan would not do something like selling their daughter for the sake of their clan's survival. However, the 6-winged clan did it. The members of the giant devil clan still had their backs straight. They were righteous devil cultivators. He secretly glanced at the 3 ladies. Among them, Fen Qi was sitting quietly by herself, sipping tea. As for Su Qiuling, she was taking the initiative to talk to Yu Lingkong using telepathy. Ning Fan did not know what they were talking about. The atmosphere between the 2 ladies was a little strange. They were not too intimate, but it was not to the extent of fighting for Fen Qi's favor either. What Su Qiuling asked Yu Lingkong was whether he had been well ever since they parted ways and whether he had put himself in danger. What ordinary people saw was Ning Fan's strength skyrocketing again and again. What Su Qiuling felt distressed about was the effort and danger that Ning Fan had put in for her. She understood him. She knew that every bit of strength he had gained was obtained by risking his life. She knew that he had never cultivated with a calm mind. The reason why he kept killing and plundering was just to have a meager amount of strength to protect the people behind him. You're very special. Aren't you jealous of me being so intimate with little Cucumber? To be honest, when I saw him fighting for you, I felt a little jealous too. I really wanted to give him a kick and make him beg for mercy. Yu Lingkong was very tough. She dared to speak her mind directly. Jealous? Elder sister Yu, do you know? I just hope that he can be safe and live on. I hope that he can live until the era where he doesn't need to kill and until the day when he stands aloof from worldly affairs. At that time, I might have the mood to be jealous of him. But now, Su Qiuling paused for a moment and said with a faint smile. Now, I only hope that I can continue living together with him. Living is very difficult. Being able to live in this world is already a kind of extravagant happiness. Because you don't know when you will suddenly die. My promise is the promise of life and death. My encounter with him is just like your encounter with him. We have become each other's scenery. However, there is no eternal scenery in this world. Perhaps one day, I will die under the heavenly tribulation. Perhaps one day, he will die under the siege of his enemies. We who are in a precarious situation don't have the right to be jealous at all. We don't have the leisure to talk about love, nor do we have the time to rest and sleep peacefully. We can only continue to walk on, live to the fullest and die without regrets. Su Qiuling's words made Yu Lingkong fall into silence. Live to the fullest and die without regrets. That's right. I don't even know when little Cucumber will die. Why should I be jealous of him? However, whenever I think of little Cucumber's death, my heart would ache. Why does this stinky cucumber risk his life so much? Why does he run to places where there is danger? Isn't he afraid of death? Yu Lingkong suddenly felt a hint of pity for Ning Fan. She realized that she had never truly understood little Cucumber's heart. She did not even know why he would risk his life so much. Little Cucumber, don't risk your life in the future. You are not allowed to die. Hide behind me. I will protect you. Yu Lingkong suddenly spoke in a domineering manner. It was as if she was confessing her love to Ning Fan. Her words stunned all the cultivators of the giant devil clan at the scene. I won't die. Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Why did this Yu Lingkong suddenly show her maternal instincts and protect him like this? He looked at Su Qiuling as if he wanted to find out what Su Qiuling and Yu Lingkong had said. Su Qiuling blinked her eyes and smiled faintly. Her bright eyes, however, contained a hint of slyness. What she meant was, why should we tell you what we are talking about? Ning Fan could not help but laugh and shake his head. He did not use the mind-reading technique to find out what the two of them were thinking. That would be a kind of blasphemy to them. However, he believed that Su Qiuling would not be jealous of Yu Lingkong. At least it was not now. Being affectionate is also a kind of trouble. Ning Fan rubbed his forehead and suddenly asked Zhu Qing. Clan leader Zhu Qing, the matter regarding Shi Kuan has finally been resolved. However, your daughter is still missing. Is there really no need to look for her? That little girl. If she wants to hide, no one can find her. When she is hungry, she will go home to eat. Zhu Qing laughed as if he knew his daughter very well. His daughter was only at the 10th level vein opening realm and her body was weak. She could not really abstain from eating. If she has no food to eat, she will go home. Big brother, why don't you go and look for little sister Xuan? Her body is weak. Don't let her starve. Su Qiuling suddenly pleaded. Her eyes were filled with worry. She was really worried about that little sister of hers. I'll go? Are you so sure that I can find her? I can't even find the members of the giant devil clan. Fine. I'll go. Ning Fan wanted to shake his head. However, when he saw Su Qiuling's pleading eyes, his heart softened. All right, I'll go and find that little girl as soon as possible and bring her home to feed her so that Su Qiuling won't be worried. Clan leader Zhu Qing, please give me a personal item of eldest mistress. I can use her chi to search for her. It's useless. Once that little girl turns invisible, her chi will completely disappear. There's no way to find her. Even though Zhu Qing said that, he also hoped that Ning Fan would give it a try and find Feng Shuiyan as soon as possible. After thinking for a while, he ordered a maidservant to bring him a small and soft shoe and gave it to Ning Fan. This small shoe was lost in Feng Shuiyan's room the other day when she turned invisible and fled. The current Feng Shuiyan would definitely be barefooted no matter where she fled to in the cold northern country. If Ning Fan finds her, he could just give her the shoe. Ning Fan instantly felt speechless. He, the dignified great devil Lord Ning, actually wanted to give a little girl a shoe. If word of this spreads out, probably no one would believe that he would do such a thing. The small shoe emitted an extremely faint fragrance of a woman. That faint fragrance was extremely ethereal. After it entered Ning Fan's nose, it suddenly disappeared. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. He tried to recall the smell, but he could not recall anything. The smell seemed to have been erased by something. This scene seemed to be familiar to him. It was like the words on a piece of white paper that had been erased by the power of samsara. The reason why Feng Shuiyan can turn invisible in such a strange manner seems to be related to the power of samsara. Ning Fan closed his eyes and activated the power of his memory intent realm. He borrowed a trace of samsara power and sensed Feng Shuiyan's qi again. After that, he found a trace of qi. He suddenly took a step forward and dashed towards a certain direction as if he had found a clue. When the group of experts of the giant devil clan saw Ning Fan's expression, they were inwardly shocked. They thought to themselves, could it be that Ning Fan is really resourceful and has found the whereabouts of our mistress? None of them could find her, but Ning Fan did. He is indeed powerful. Ning Fan flew all the way and moved like a wisp of smoke. He followed the trace of qi and flew 1,000,000 li away from the province. Then he suddenly stopped in a desolate snowy forest. This was the end of the qi. Traces of his memory power spread out. Suddenly, tiny footprints that should have disappeared appeared on the snowy ground in the surroundings. The left foot was the footprint of a woman's embroidered shoe, while the right foot was the footprint of a bare man. Following the footprints, Ning Fan walked into the depths of the snowy forest. At the end of the forest, there was a small snowman. It was obviously just an ordinary snowman with a nose made of ginseng and eyes made of stones. However, when Ning Fan arrived, the small snowman's eyes, which were made of stones, suddenly revealed a panic-stricken expression. It turned out that it was actually alive. Whoosh! The small snowman suddenly stood up. With a gentle step, it moved like smoke and disappeared without a trace. The body of the snowman gave off traces of cold wind and snow. All the qi and footprints that were left in this place were all erased. Interesting. You're just at the 10th level of the vein opening realm, but you know the teleportation technique and even know how to use a trace of fake samsara power. No wonder you can run 1,000,000 li away from the province. Are you trying to play hide and seek with me? A mere snowman was still too young to play hide and seek with Ning Fan. Chapter 453. Whoosh! With a teleportation, the little snowman disappeared from Ning Fan's sight. Ning Fan was not in a hurry to chase after her. He waved his palm in the wind and snow. The power of his memory intent realm spread out. Traces of qi and footprints that had disappeared gradually became clearer. After confirming a direction, Ning Fan took a step forward and arrived at the peak of a snowy mountain. The snowy mountain was more than 7,000 zhang tall. There was indeed a little snowman standing on the peak of the mountain. The little snowman was panting heavily. It seemed that the teleportation technique she used just now had taken a huge toll on her body. Seeing that Ning Fan was chasing after her again, the little snowman hurriedly fled and teleported away again. This time, she was in such a hurry that she did not notice that a scroll fell from her body and fell on the snowy ground. Ning Fan's lips curved into a playful smile. This little girl runs pretty fast. Not to mention that ordinary people would not be able to find her. Even if they do, there would be very few people who could catch up to her. He did not immediately chase after her. Instead, he casually picked up the scroll and shook his head with a smile. I don't even know if I dropped something. As soon as he finished speaking, his eyes suddenly turned cold. He could sense a trace of extremely faint devil qi from the scroll, but it made his devil blood tremble. He was not in a hurry to chase after the snowman. Instead, he opened the scroll and took a glance at it. This scroll was made from the skin of some kind of demon beast. It was extremely ancient. The scroll actually recorded an incomplete devil scripture. The devil scripture was written in the Gu Tuo script. The handwriting was delicate and elegant. The person who wrote it should be a woman. Judging from the age of the handwriting, the person who wrote it was an ancient cultivator. Somehow, Ning Fan felt that the handwriting on the scroll was somewhat familiar. When he thought about it carefully, it was actually the same as the one he saw on the stone tablet outside the evening snow pavilion. Is the progenitor of the giant devil clan the one who recorded this devil scripture? Ning Fan carefully read the devil scripture. This devil scripture was obscure and difficult to understand. However, the content that was recorded made him feel a little familiar. He thought for a moment and immediately understood why this feeling of familiarity would appear. A part of the content of this scripture was actually the same as the devil text on the slate of the six-winged clan. Where did these devil scriptures come from? Why didn't the giant devil clan have the strange phenomenon of devil blood dyeing the blue sky like the three clans did? Is there a connection between the two? If there is a connection, the devil scripture is of great importance. Why would it be placed in the hands of a little girl? Is there a secret behind this? He imprinted the devil scripture into another jade slip and kept the scroll into his sleeve. Then, he took a step forward and chased after the little snowman. He pondered in his heart. If the giant devil race hid the slate devil sutra and kept it a secret from the outside world, should he make a move to snatch it? Forget it, the giant demon clan had never betrayed him. If he betrayed the giant demon clan, it would go against his Tao heart. He would put this matter aside for now, and finding the little snowman was more important. This time, he stopped in a snow valley 10,000 li away. There were many snow apes in the valley, and each of them had the strength of a golden core cultivator. After the little snowman entered the snow valley, dozens of snow apes immediately surrounded her, intending to attack her. The little snowman seemed to be a little flustered. It did not expect to be surrounded by demonic beasts here. Panting heavily, she seemed to have no more strength to escape. Looking at the demonic beasts that were gradually approaching, she was a little scared. Are you afraid now? Ning Fan walked into the snow valley at a moderate pace. His indifferent voice spread out with monstrous baleful chi. He did not even attack these low-grade snow apes. When all of them sensed Ning Fan's arrival, their eyes were filled with terror. Apes were the most intelligent. These snow apes could sense that Ning Fan was not someone to be trifled with. Each of them was horrified and ran for their lives. Ning Fan did not chase after them. It was not that he was being merciful. He just had some concerns. He did not want this little snowman to see blood. If you continue to run and encounter danger, I won't save you anymore. I'm here to bring you back. He gently touched the glabella of the little snowman with a finger. A gentle light spread out and the layers of snow melted, revealing the young lady hiding inside the snowman's body. She was wearing a plain white dress. She looked like a 14 to 15 years old girl. Looking at Ning Fan, who was just inches away from her, she would be lying if she said that she was not afraid. Ning Fan's baleful chi was really terrifying. It was easy to imagine that it could scare away the ferocious beasts. However, she remained calm and did not say a word. She quietly raised her head and stared at Ning Fan, which gave her some courage. Her long hair was as white as snowflakes. On her snow-white hair, there was a large snow-white feather. Her small face was a little pale and her right foot was still bare. Seeing that the young lady did not try to hide or run away, Ning Fan nodded with a smile. This lady's cultivation base was not high, but she was courageous. She was qualified to be the sister of an extraordinary lady like Su Qiuling. You are Feng Shuiyan? The young lady nodded. Are you afraid of me? The young lady wanted to nod, but she hesitated for a moment and shook her head. You don't know how to speak? The young lady nodded. Her eyes were filled with sadness, but she hid it indifferently. What a pitiful person. She was indeed pitiful. A 10th level vein opening realm cultivator did not have spirit sense and could not speak. It was basically impossible for her to communicate with others. Even though this lady was pitiful, Ning Fan's concern for her was also because of Su Qiuling's request. He reached out his hand to pull Feng Shuiyan, intending to bring her back to the province. However, she gently stepped back and shook her head. Her meaning was obvious. She did not want to go back. Are you worried that the son of the Le Country Lord will bully you? When Ning Fan's indifferent voice fell into Feng Shuiyan's ears, it immediately turned into a strange expression. Feng Shuiyan felt very surprised. This young man in front of her did not look much older than her. How could he be so powerful and know everything? That night, the son of the Le Country Lord had evil intentions and sneaked into her room. When she realized that there was someone outside the door, she immediately fled in panic. Ning Fan was not there at that time. How could he know? Even though Ning Fan could not directly communicate with the young lady, he knew the mind-reading technique. Even though the young lady could not speak, he could read her mind. Don't worry. Everything is over now. You can go home with me without worry. The young lady instinctively took a step back and looked at Ning Fan with a hint of fear. She instinctively had a good impression of this young man who spoke gently. However, he was a stranger after all. It was impossible for her to trust him easily and follow him just because he said so. I am Chioling's husband. This time she asked me to bring you back. She was worried that you would be hungry. Ning Fan took out a small shoe from his sleeve. He bent down and said with a smile, "Lift your foot. I will put it on for you." As soon as Feng Shuiyan heard Ning Fan mention Su Chioling and her embroidered shoe as a keepsake, Feng Shuiyan could not help but believe Ning Fan a little. However, there was still a hint of wariness in the depths of her eyes. She carefully looked at Ning Fan and found him more and more familiar. He seemed to be very similar to the portrait that Su Chioling showed her. During the days when Su Chioling and Feng Shuiyan were together, she often talked about Ning Fan to Feng Shuiyan. She had even shown Ning Fan's true appearance to her. Her initial wariness towards Ning Fan gradually faded away. She lifted her bare right foot and let Ning Fan put on the shoe for her. "Thank you." Her lips moved but she could not make any sound. Her eyes dimmed for a moment and then turned calm. That calmness was just like Su Chioling, who was indifferent to life and death when she was suffering from a terminal illness in the past. The two of them did have some similarities in their personalities. No wonder they became sisters. "Don't worry. I can hear your voice. You are saying, thank you, aren't you?" "How did you know?" Feng Shuiyan still could not make any sound. She could only move her lips. However, Ning Fan could hear what she was saying in her mind. "This is a secret. If there is a chance in the future, I will slowly tell you about it. Let's go. It's time to go back." "Brother-in-law, wait for a moment. I lost something." Feng Shuiyan bit her lips anxiously. Only then did she realize that the scroll in her sleeve had disappeared. Ning Fan was slightly stunned. It was his first time hearing someone call him brother-in-law, even if Feng Shuiyan was calling him that in her mind. His gaze towards Feng Shuiyan became even gentler. With a faint smile, he took out a scroll from his sleeve and passed it to Feng Shuiyan. "I picked it up by accident. Now that everything is fine, can we go back?" "Thank you, brother-in-law. I'm so hungry." Feng Shuiyan's stomach growled, confirming what she said in her mind. Ning Fan could not help but laugh. This little girl doesn't look like a cultivator at all. If she doesn't abstain from eating and goes into seclusion for 1 or 2 years, won't she starve to death? Forget it. She calls me brother-in-law after all. If there is a chance, I will help her concoct pills and treat her illness. She must at least have a harmonious spirit realm cultivation base. She can abstain from eating and cultivate while communicating with her spirit sense. Otherwise, how boring would it be for a little mute to shut herself away all day? Holding the young lady's hand, Ning Fan turned into smoke with a single step. Just as he was about to return, Feng Shuiyan suddenly fell on the snowy ground. Her body curled up into a ball. Her face was covered with sweat and her body was burning hot. "Brother-in-law, it hurts. It hurts." Feng Shuiyan screamed helplessly in her heart. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He used his spirit sense to check Feng Shuiyan's body. Immediately, his usually calm eyes revealed a hint of anger. "This is..." Ning Fan squatted down and held Feng Shuiyan in his arms. He turned her back to him and suddenly tore her clothes apart, revealing that she was still wearing a tube top. He stared at her back and the coldness in his eyes deepened. On Feng Shuiyan's fair and flawless back, there were 8 seals with the pattern of black flames burning on her back. Each of the 8 seals was planted by a void refinement realm cultivator with all their might. When the 8 seals combine into one, even a void fragmentation realm old monster might not be able to break it. The 8 seals were planted to seal something inside Feng Shuiyan's body. The seals could block all probing. No one knew what was hidden inside Feng Shuiyan's body. However, Ning Fan sensed that the thing that was sealed was a drop of devil blood that was burning like fire. It was almost the same as the blood of Mo Luo in his primordial spirit. It was just slightly weaker in terms of power. There were also some flaws and it was not pure. Feng Shuiyan was different from Ning Fan. She was just a vein-opening realm cultivator and she did not have profound magic power like Ning Fan. How could she endure the torment of Mo Luo's blood? Could it be that all the pain and sufferings of this lady were caused by this drop of Mo Luo's blood? Ning Fan carefully examined her body. His eyes became colder and colder. He finally understood how vicious the 8 seals were. The person who sealed the devil blood was not hiding the blood but nurturing it instead. When this Mo Luo's blood was first sealed, it was not a complete drop of blood. Perhaps it was just a trace of blood. Someone sealed the trace of blood in Feng Shuiyan's body and used her to nurture the devil blood, making it gradually grow stronger in order to achieve their goal. After the devil blood is fully nurtured, they would sacrifice Feng Shuiyan's life to complete the last step, which was to remove the flaws of the devil blood and extract it. The person who planted the seal on Feng Shuiyan and nurtured the devil blood was really vicious. However, what kind of person would do such a thing? What was their goal? Why did they choose Feng Shuiyan? Ning Fan held Feng Shuiyan's small hand and helped her close her clothes. After that, he continued to channel his magic power into her body, causing her qi to gradually calm down. At the moment when their palms touched each other, a feeling of being connected to each other suddenly appeared in their hearts. Ning Fan had only felt this feeling from Fen Qi. All of a sudden, Ning Fan seemed to understand why Feng Shuiyan would be targeted by someone to nurture the devil blood in her body. She is the current devil concubine of the giant devil clan. Hundreds of thoughts flashed across Ning Fan's mind while he continued to channel his magic power into her body. The pain in Feng Shuiyan's body gradually subsided and she slowly regained consciousness. When she saw herself lying in Ning Fan's arms with her clothes half undone, revealing her naked body, a hint of fear flashed across her clear eyes. "Brother-in-law, don't molest me." Her lips moved and she hugged her chest with her small hands. She was a little scared. Ning Fan did not know whether to laugh or cry. Do I look like a bad person? I don't even let my sister-in-law go? Perhaps I do look like a bad person? Even he himself was not sure because he was indeed notorious right now. Everyone who sees him would be afraid of him and beasts would flee when they see him. Chapter 454. Ning Fan let go of Feng Shuiyan. He did not have the intention to tease her. She was Su Qiuling's younger sister. Therefore, she was also his younger sister. Even though he was a sentimental person, he knew that if he hurt her, he would definitely hurt Su Qiuling's heart. To Ning Fan, Su Qiuling's tolerance was an indescribable warmth. He would not hurt her sisters. Feng Shuiyan stood up and quietly distanced herself from Ning Fan. Then, she quickly tidied up her clothes. When she thought about how Ning Fan took off her clothes after she fainted and saw everything, her face flushed with anger. However, when she noticed that there was a warm and vast magic power flowing in her body, her brows immediately relaxed. Feng Shuiyan was a man of few words and her cultivation base was low, but she was not a fool. She could naturally see that the magic power in her body was relieving her pain and nourishing her body. Of course, she also understood that with her 10th level vein opening realm cultivation base, it was impossible for her to have such vast magic power. Moreover, even her father did not have such vast magic power. This magic power must have been channeled into her body by Ning Fan. He was not flirting with her just now. Instead, he was saving her. "I'm sorry, brother-in-law. I misunderstood you. You were saving me. I should thank you. I shouldn't blame you." Feng Shuiyan moved her lips and apologized to Ning Fan. Somehow, she seemed to be a little worried that Ning Fan would be angry at her. This brother-in-law whom she had just met was not only a good person who saved her but also the first person who found her and talked to her directly. "Silly girl. By the way, what's going on with the black flame seal on your back?" Ning Fan asked. "What seal?" "Oh no." Feng Shuiyan shook her head. "Really? Just pretend that I didn't say anything. Let me ask you another question. Where did you get that beast hide scroll?" "Grandpa gave it to me." "Grandpa? Who is it?" Ning Fan faintly felt that this so-called grandpa was closely related to the devil blood in Feng Shuiyan's body. "Grandpa's? I forgot." Feng Shuiyan had actually forgotten who her grandpa was. Did her memory get erased by the pseudo-samsara? Ning Fan's eyes turned grim. This giant devil clan was far stranger than he imagined. The devil blood that Feng Shuiyan bred, the beast skin scroll, the 8 layers of seals, the fake samsara power, her elder and the hidden void pierce stage expert. The waters of the giant demon clan seemed to be a bit deep. The reason why Feng Shuiyan's body was weak and sickly, and her cultivation base was low was because of the devil blood in her body. Ordinary members of the giant devil clan might not know about this matter, but as Feng Shuiyan's father, revered giant should know about it. Why didn't he do anything about it? The elder whom Feng Shuiyan addressed so intimately was naturally a member of the giant devil clan. Was the person who harmed Feng Shuiyan an outsider or someone from the giant devil clan? Perhaps he was a hidden expert of the giant devil race. Ning Fan frowned. The situation of the giant devil clan is so complicated. Should I help Feng Shuiyan? He did not know who the enemies in the dark were. The only thing he knew was that if he helped Feng Shuiyan, he would definitely ruin their plans and offend them. He didn't even know who his enemies were, so it was unwise to rashly offend them. Given Ning Fan's personality, he would prioritize his own benefits first. He would never make such a choice. It was just like how he always had a cold-blooded attitude towards the Six-Winged clan. However, Feng Shuiyan was different. She was Su Qiuling's sister. If she died, Su Qiuling would be sad. When he thought of Su Qiuling, Ning Fan's eyes gradually became determined. I, Ning Fan, have always been doing things my own way all my life. I don't care about good or evil. I just want to have a clear conscience and no regrets in my Tao. If I abandon this girl and make Qiuling sad, I will definitely regret it. We need to save this woman, but we need to be clear about the steps. First, I have to figure out who the enemy is. Only by knowing myself and the enemy can I be prepared. Secondly, Zhu Qing's concern for his daughter didn't seem fake. The fact that the giant demon clan used all of their power to search for elixirs to heal his daughter also didn't seem fake. Even though the human heart is treacherous and it's hard to guard against it at times, I should still participate in the pill ceremony this time. Even if it's not for the Void Inquiry pill, I still have to fight for a slot to concoct pills to cure my illness. Let's see if that elixir can cure this woman. If it can't, Ning Fan's eyes flashed with a cold and sharp light. If I can't, then I'll have to find another way to save this woman. As for the mastermind behind this scheme, we must find out who it is. Based on Ning Fan's personality, once he has made a decision, he would not go back on his words. He looked at Feng Shuiyan and said with a solemn expression, "Little girl, don't tell anyone about what I asked you today and the fact that I saw your naked body and the beast skin scroll." Understood. Feng Shuiyan's smile was very sweet. She realized that Ning Fan's eyes at this moment were serious, fierce, and scary. They were not gentle at all. However, compared to the gentle gaze he had before, there was now a hint of genuine concern. He was truly concerned about her from the bottom of his heart without any pretense. She did not understand why she could not tell anyone about what happened today. However, she still nodded her head and kept it in her heart. After all, she was mute. Who else could she tell? Brother-in-law is really silly. Is he confused because of his concern? Be good. Let's go back to the prefecture and eat some delicious food. Brother-in-law, you're so nice. She could tell that Ning Fan was concerned about her. She gently tiptoed and kissed him on the cheek. Her eyes were pure without any desire. Ning Fan touched the side of his face and shook his head with a smile. In his eyes, Feng Shuiyan was like a snowman made of ice and snow. She was as clean as a piece of paper. Her kiss was just a way for a child to express her joy. More thoughts emerged in Ning Fan's mind. Today, when we return to the prefecture, I should first conceal what I have seen and heard and then probe Zhu Qing's intentions. He did not believe that an honest man like Zhu Qing would harm his own child. However, the human heart was unpredictable. He had to be cautious. As for the method to save Feng Shuiyan, he still needed to consider it further. It would be fine if the pills are effective. However, if they are ineffective, Ning Fan would need to think of a solution himself. Ning Fan cultivated the samsara power. Originally, he could break the 8 seals on Feng Shuiyan's back. However, what was strange was that Feng Shuiyan's body not only contained the devil blood but also the seals. There was also an obscure, pseudo-samsara power hidden in her body. That pseudo-samsara power was not as powerful as Ning Fan's true samsara power. However, it could counteract the corrosion of the true samsara power and prevent Ning Fan from breaking the seals. It was a little difficult to break the 8 layers of seals using the wind mist technique. What Ning Fan found especially troublesome was that even if he could break the seals, he would not dare to help Feng Shuiyan take out Mo Luo's blood. This devil blood should have been planted in Feng Shuiyan when she was very young. It was already connected to her life. Once it is taken out, Feng Shuiyan's life would be in danger and she would certainly die. If Feng Shuiyan could refine this drop of devil blood on her own, it would be the best solution. However, Mo Luo's blood was not something that ordinary people could refine. Even the current Ning Fan could not completely refine it, let alone Feng Shuiyan, who was at the 10th level of the vein opening realm. If she forcefully refines Mo Luo's blood, even if she only refines a trace of it, her body would explode and she would die because her body could not withstand the power of the devil blood. Perhaps, Ning Fan should first collect the 4 devil statue slates and gather enough devil scriptures of the ancestral talisman blood refinement technique from the devil scriptures on the 4 slates. Only then would he have a way to deal with Mo Luo's blood. As for how to save Feng Shuiyan, he could only put it aside for the time being. Let's go. He flicked his sleeves and wanted to bring Feng Shuiyan away. All of a sudden, his eyes widened and he glanced at the snowy sky in the southeast. Who is it? The moment Ning Fan shouted coldly, he pointed a finger at the same time. A ray of sword light pierced through the clouds at lightning speed. It was the Separation Slayer sword. Above the clouds, a black shadow suddenly appeared. His face was obscured by the devil mist, making it hard to see him clearly. Only a pair of cloudy eyes could be seen clearly. At this moment, the black shadow's eyes were filled with a hint of surprise. He had just arrived at this place and was still concealing himself. Obviously, he did not expect that Ning Fan would be able to see through his concealment. Even though he was surprised, it was just a hint. The black shadow looked at the Separation Slayer sword with a hint of disdain. He clenched his 5 fingers and golden light shone brightly around his body. Judging from the intensity of the golden light, this person was actually a body cultivator at the 2nd level of the golden body refining realm. However, the chi of this person was extremely strange. It gave Ning Fan an illusion that he was not a living person. Boom! The Separation Slayer sword was shaken by the black shadow's hand and it immediately flew back to Ning Fan's hand. The sword was still trembling. As for the black shadow, his finger was also cut by the sword peak when he received the sword with his bare hands. He was greatly surprised. He did not expect that a mere low-grade void treasure could actually cut his finger even though he was too careless. A 2-star divine weapon? Humph. Your techniques aren't weak. No wonder you could kill Shirkuan. However, you are still too inexperienced. Young man, you are very similar to me when I was young. However, there are some things that you can't interfere with. Whoosh! The black shadow suddenly threw a ray of black light at Ning Fan's chest. Then he left right away. However, before he left, he secretly glanced at Feng Shuiyan. When he saw that the latter was fine, he felt slightly relieved. His eyes were filled with shame and bitterness. Just now, I clearly sensed that Yen Air's seal was acting up. That's why I came to save her. However, I didn't expect that this young man would save her before me. The black shadow turned into a ray of traveling light and left. The magic power and aura force that was emitting from the traveling light had already reached the Void Pierce stage. The magic power of the Void Pierce stage and the body refinement realm of the 2nd level of the golden body refining realm. This black shadow was very strong. He was definitely not someone Ning Fan could defeat with his current strength. Ning Fan did not chase after the black shadow. Instead, he pointed a finger at the black light that was shooting at his chest. That black light was not a concealed weapon. Instead, it was a black jade slip. Ning Fan took the jade slip and scanned its contents with his spirit sense. Immediately, his eyes turned solemn and he remained silent. There was only one sentence in the jade slip. I will always be grateful for your kindness in protecting my clan. Do not interfere in Xueyan's matter. You can't withstand the wrath of the 8 ancestors. The ferocious qi in those words gave Ning Fan a faint sense of familiarity. He should have sensed this qi somewhere before. Ning Fan cleared his thoughts and gradually recalled where he had sensed this qi before. The monument of slaughter outside the secret realm of the broken world on the Pleasure Devil Immortal Island. The person who ranks first on the monument of slaughter is called Zhu Yan. He is the previous venerated giant, the father of Zhu Qing and Feng Xuan's grandfather. Rumor has it that Zhu Yan has already died a long time ago. Why would he appear at this time and place? He doesn't seem to be hostile towards me. Otherwise, I won't be a match for him with his strength unless I use the steel of sun and moon. Zhu Yan obviously knows the reason why Feng Xuan was sealed. Was he the one who murdered her? This person thanked me for protecting the giant devil clan. It naturally means that he is a person who values relationships. He told me not to interfere in Xueyan's matter. It can be regarded as a kind reminder or a warning. He said that I can't withstand the wrath of the 8 ancestors. Poor they. Could it be that they are the mastermind behind this matter? When Zhu Yan mentioned the 8 ancestors, his tone was respectful. Obviously, they are probably the ancestors of the giant devil clan. No matter who is the mastermind, the one who murdered Feng Xuan is probably one of us. What is their purpose? He could not figure it out. However, even if he could not figure it out, Ning Fan did not plan to abandon Feng Xuan. He could only investigate step by step and send Feng Xuan back first. Even though he did not know the purpose of the giant devil clan, Feng Xuan would certainly not be in any danger before the devil blood is fully condensed. It was just like how Zhu Yan had come all the way to save Feng Xuan. Grandpa. He is my grandpa. My head hurts so much. Feng Xuan suddenly held her head. She felt a little uncomfortable as she recovered some of her memories that had been erased. Don't be afraid. Brother-in-law will bring you home. Ning Fan held Feng Xuan's wrist and secretly injected his magic power into it. His eyes gradually turned cold. Even though he did not know the purpose of the giant devil clan to harm Feng Xuan. No matter what, the current Ning Fan looked down on the giant devil clan. Just like the 6-winged clan who abandoned Fen Qi for the safety of their clan. Just like the giant devil clan who abandoned Feng Xuan for unknown reasons. Ning Fan could endure the harm of his enemies and enemies. However, the harm of his own clan enraged Ning Fan the most. He had also been harmed by young Master Ning Tian in the past. Even though he did not have a close relationship with Ning Tian, being betrayed by his own clan had always been a thorn in his heart. Therefore, he showed some concern and tolerance towards Fen Qi, who was also abandoned by the 6-winged clan as a chess piece. Therefore, he also felt pity for Feng Xuan. Therefore, he understood the disappointment that old devil felt when he was betrayed by his foster son. Wush Ning Fan held Feng Xuan in his arms and turned into a wisp of smoke, flying all the way back to the Sad Devil Palace. He secretly hid all of his facial expressions as if nothing had happened. When everyone saw that Ning Fan could really find their eldest mistress at such a fast speed, all of them were astonished. When Su Qiuling saw that Ning Fan had really found Feng Xuan, her eyes were filled with gratitude. However, she did not say a single word of thanks. There was no need for her to say thanks to him. However, at the next moment, she sharply noticed a hint of anger in Ning Fan's eyes. That anger was hidden very deeply and no one could notice it. However, Su Qiuling could see it because she knew Ning Fan very well. Did something happen? Su Qiuling asked gently. Don't worry. Ning Fan comforted her. However, his eyes subtly swept across the elders of the giant devil clan. The higher-ups of the giant devil clan in the Sad Devil Palace were the clan leader, Zhu Qing, the great elder, Fu Bai and 10 other elders. Among the elders, there was only one woman. She was the second elder, Yao Lian. The second elder of the giant devil clan, Yao Lian, was rumored to be a fickle woman. She had slept with many devil cultivators and cultivated devil cultivation techniques and bewitching techniques. Her appearance was just above average in the cultivation world. However, her skills in bed were really good. Of course, Even though this woman had an unrestrained personality, she was loyal to the giant devil clan. She was never careless when it came to major matters. Even though she had a questionable character, she was not a despicable person. Other than being a little coquettish, she was quite kind to the members of the clan. Human nature was complicated. There was nothing that could be done about it. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He cultivated the mind-reading technique. If he wants to find out some secrets of the giant devil clan, he naturally had to look for a high-ranking female cultivator. This Yao Lian was a good candidate. Giggle. Fellow Taoist Zhou seems to be very interested in me. I happen to be free tonight. I wonder if fellow Taoist wants to come to my boudoir for a drink? Yao Lian looked at Ning Fan's handsome face and licked her lips like a beautiful snake. Ning Fan happened to be the type that she liked. She really wanted to taste the feeling of being assaulted by Ning Fan. Yao Lian, if you want to seduce men, don't seduce my harem. This little cucumber is mine. Yu Lingkong's cold and domineering eyes swept across Yao Lian. Immediately, Yao Lian's soul shuddered. She no longer dared to seduce Ning Fan. Yu Lingkong was a female tyrant. She was the leader of the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea in the past. She was stronger than Dong Su and Zhu Qing. Today, she had broken through to the Void Glimpse stage and was still unrivaled among Void Glimpse stage experts. Who among the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea would dare to offend her? With Yu Lingkong's personality, if it wasn't because Ning Fan had some friendly relations with the giant devil clan, she would not be polite to Zhu Qing and Dong Su. As for Yao Lian, she was a woman who could sleep with any man. She would not allow Ning Fan to sleep with her. Even if Little Cucumber wants to accept her, he can't accept such a disgusting person. Yu Lingkong thought valiantly and refused to admit that she was jealous. Ning Fan smiled at her ambiguously. He felt that Yu Lingkong's jealous look was very cute. Zhu Qing let out a hollow laugh and dispelled the awkward atmosphere in the Sad Devil Palace. Then he suddenly asked Ning Fan, I've heard from Little Shanzi that fellow Taoist Zhou seems to be a pill refinement master with a high grade. I wonder if you're interested in participating in the pill ceremony this time? It would be a pity if I don't participate in such a grand event. Moreover, if I participate in the pill ceremony and get into the top 3, I will be qualified to accept the mission given by clan leader Zhu Qing to concoct a life-saving pill for Miss Shui Yan. If I can successfully concoct the pill that clan leader needs, not only will I be able to obtain the Void Inquiry pill as a reward, I can also save Miss Shui Yan's life. It's really a joyous occasion. Clan leader, do you think I'm right? Ning Fan asked meaningfully. Fellow Taoist is right. If Yan be cured, it will be a joyous occasion. Zhu Qing's eyes flashed with hope. He really wanted to cure Feng Shuiyan from the bottom of his heart. Ning Fan went silent for a while. Could it be that Zhu Qing doesn't know about Feng Shuiyan's death? His concern and care for Feng Shuiyan is not a pretense. This made Ning Fan feel relieved. If even Feng Shuiyan's father betrays her, how cruel would it be to Feng Shuiyan? If that's the case, I should find a chance to steal some information from Yao Lian. The mind-reading technique is really useful. Since fellow Taoist Zhou has the intention to participate in the pill ceremony, this old man will give you a good introduction about the entire process of the pill ceremony. What do you think? Dong Su stroked his beard and nodded with a smile. All right, I'll have to trouble fellow Taoist Dong Su to explain it to me. Honestly speaking, Ning Fan was quite interested in the pill ceremony. If it wasn't because of the matter regarding Feng Shuiyan, he would be very willing to exchange pointers with countless pill refinement grandmasters. Pill refinement techniques and the yin-yang transformation complemented each other. They were important ways to improve one's cultivation base. Thus, he must not fall behind. Chapter 455. Dong Su introduced the entire process of the pill ceremony in detail. The pill ceremony this time was jointly organized by the Giant Devil Clan and the Pill Island. With the Void Inquiry pill as a gimmick, it was an unprecedentedly grand event. Countless hidden pill masters and old monsters rushed to the Endless Sea to participate in the ceremony. The grand occasion of the pill ceremony this time was not any weaker than the Middle State Pill Gathering that was held once every 50 years by the Rain Palace. Pill masters of any grade were qualified to participate in the pill ceremony. However, if their grade was lower than the third revolution, they would probably be eliminated in the first round. The pill ceremony was divided into 3 rounds. The first round was the pill tablet test. The so-called pill tablet was a treasure provided by the Pill Island for this ceremony. It could be used to test the grades of 1st to 4th revolution pill masters. Those who had not reached the 3rd revolution would be eliminated. The second round was the melting spiritual herbs. This theory tested the speed and degree of purification of the elixirs. Normally, pill refinement was divided into 3 steps. The first step was to melt the spiritual herbs into medicinal liquid and purify them with fire continuously. The second step was to fuse the medicinal power of different spiritual herbs. The third step was to restrain the fire and form the pill. The first step was to melt the spiritual herbs. During the process of melting, the medicinal power of the spiritual herbs would be slightly lost. Therefore, the faster the speed of melting the spiritual herbs, the less medicinal power would be lost. After melting the spiritual herbs, one must purify the medicinal liquid and remove the impurities. The higher the number of times of purification, the purer the medicinal liquid and the better the quality of the refined pills. Of course, the more times of purification, the more difficult it would be. A careless mistake would result in the destruction of the medicinal herbs. For example, a 4th revolution pill master could purify a 1,000-years-old spiritual herb 5 to 10 times. There were very few 4th revolution pill masters who could purify a 1,000-years-old spiritual herb more than 11 times. As for 5th revolution pill masters, they could purify a 1,000-years-old spiritual herb more than 50 times. In the second round of the test, those who failed to purify the spiritual herbs within the specified time would be eliminated. The third round of the pill ceremony was opening the cauldron to concoct pills. In this round, the participants could concoct the pill they were most familiar with and pass it to the appraiser to determine their ranking in the grand competition. The top 3 in the grand competition would not only be rewarded handsomely, but they would also be qualified to accept Zhu Qing's mission to concoct a life-saving pill for Feng Shuiyin. If the pill was successfully concocted, they would be rewarded with a void inquiry pill. Those who were ranked below the top 3 would also be rewarded with different levels of rewards such as precious pill recipes and precious spiritual herbs. To an ordinary alchemist, it was quite tempting. Naturally, many of the old monsters were here for the void inquiry pills. They wanted to get into the top 3. However, most alchemists knew that they couldn't fight for the top 3, so they would still fight for the other rewards. The news of the pill ceremony had been released a few years ago, and many pill refiners from the Rain world had rushed to the inner endless sea. For example, Yun Niansu, an outstanding genius of the Rain Palace whom Ning Fan had met once before. He had once invited Ning Fan to stay on Pill Island for a while. Unfortunately, Ning Fan ignored him. He was here to participate in the pill ceremony. There was still a month before the first round of selections. The Giant Devil Clan held a 100 fruits banquet to entertain Ning Fan and his group. After the banquet, Ning Fan bid farewell to them with the excuse that he was going to participate in the pill ceremony. Then, they stayed in the guest house of the northern Liang province. Yu Lingkong and Fen Qi had followed Ning Fan all the way to the Giant Devil Clan. They were also a little tired. Both of them had already rested in their own rooms. Feng Shuiyin insisted on sleeping with Su Qiuling on the same bed. Their sisterly relationship was very deep and she did not give Ning Fan and Su Qiuling the chance to be intimate with each other. Ning Fan already knew how strange the Giant Devil Clan was. He handed over the 4 Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets to Yu Lingkong and kept them on guard outside their rooms. He sat alone in the west room, cutting the candles and looking at the stacks of rice paper under the candlelight without saying a word. Every single piece of paper was filled with the graceful handwriting of a woman. All of them were written by Feng Shuiyin in the past. Since she could not converse with Su Qiuling, she needed to write whatever she wanted to say. Who asked her to be a mute? There was a kind of loneliness and persistence in Feng Shuiyin's handwriting. However, it was like the wind and snow on a cold night. No one could understand it. She was the daughter of one of the 7 venerated beings of the internal sea. However, her body was frail and her cultivation base was low. The experts around her were either Gold Core Realm or Nascent Soul Realm experts, while she was just a vein opening realm cultivator. She was unwilling to be inferior to others. However, she could not change her fate. All the magic power that she had painstakingly cultivated would be devoured by the devil blood and become the nourishment for the devil blood. Was she destined to never be able to attain the harmonious spirit realm in her life? Fortunately, she still had talent in the art of engraving marks. Thus, she spent all her efforts on studying the art of engraving marks. After putting in unimaginable effort, she became a famous engraving master in the internal sea. After she engraved the teleportation devil mark on herself, she finally gained the ability to fly. That was a general grade escaping devil mark which required more than 40 needles. It was hard for Ning Fan to imagine how a young lady at the 10th level of the vein opening realm could ruthlessly engrave more than 40 needles on her fair and tender skin. Ning Fan had engraved the Stone Warrior devil mark before. Thus, he naturally knew how painful it would be to engrave 40 needles on her skin. Ling Er really has a good eye to acknowledge this lady as her sister. However, what exactly is the giant devil clan planning to do by sacrificing the daughter of such an outstanding clan leader? Creek Ning Fan extinguished the candlelight and quietly pushed the door open, stepping into the wind and snow. After putting on the heaven-deceiving cloak, his figure became faint and eventually disappeared. No one knew where he went. The Snow Lotus Pavilion was the residence of the second elder, Yao Lian. In the pavilion where the candlelight was swaying, the sound of water could be heard. It seemed like Yao Lian was taking a bath. Outside the pavilion, there were more than 10 Gold Core Realm maids who were on night watch. The wind and snow outside the pavilion were heavy. All of a sudden, a gentle breeze blew into the pavilion. None of the maids noticed it. That elder Yao Lian was at the top of the pavilion. She was soaking in a wooden tub that was sprinkled with flower petals. Under the dense steam, her curvaceous body was like a honey peach that made people want to take a bite. Her appearance was ordinary, but her body was very hot. As she bathed in the hot water, a warm feeling enveloped her entire body. In Yao Lian's eyes, she recalled the Ning Fan she saw during the day. That handsome and cold young man made her unable to forget him. She licked her lips and closed her eyes. Her mind was fantasizing about Ning Fan's sexy body. However, her hands reached into the water and reached between her legs, teasing them. She imagined the scene of Ning Fan violently throwing her on the bed and trampling on her. She imagined the scene of Ning Fan tearing all of her clothes and biting her breasts until they bled. She imagined the scene of the two of them entangling their bodies and the scene of them wanting to die. Soft moans resounded in the pavilion. Traces of heat flowed out from between her thighs, making her feel ecstatic and unable to stop. Venerated Ming, Brother Ming, what I want. Yao Lian, who was immersed in her own pleasure, did not notice that a young man in white robes had appeared in her room out of nowhere. His face darkened. Ning Fan had never thought that he would be missed by a slut to this extent one day. He actually became the object of Yao Lian's imagination when she was immersing herself in her own pleasure. This Yao Lian is really lustful to the core. Ning Fan shook his head. Even though he would not despise such a woman who could have any man she wanted, it was impossible for him to like her. He himself was just a devil lord who practiced dual cultivation. His body might not be as clean as Yao Lian's. Thus, he would not despise her. However, he would not have anything to do with a woman like Yao Lian either. But there was no reason. He did not need a reason to dislike a person. Miss Yao Lian, you seem to be in a good mood. Ning Fan revealed a playful smile and suddenly spoke. He sat at the wooden table and poured himself a cup of wine. While drinking it, he looked at Yao Lian. Yao Lian did not know that there was someone else in the room at all. She was startled and lost control of her body. Her body was pink with pleasure and it was still twitching inside the wooden barrel. The remaining heat had yet to subside and it was still pounding on her. Yao Lian glanced at Ning Fan coquettishly with her charming eyes and said while panting, "You're so annoying. When did venerated Ming come in? Why didn't you tell me? My erotic scene is pretty good, isn't it?" This woman was really shameless. She could still remain so calm even though Ning Fan had seen her naked body. As a devil cultivator, she was not bad. "You knew that I would come?" Ning Fan fiddled with his wine cup. His eyes were as deep as the ocean. During the day, the way venerated Ming looked at me was as if he wanted to eat me alive. At that time, I thought that venerated Ming would definitely come and spend the night with me. Yao Lian rose to her feet and got out of the wooden barrel. She dried her body bit by bit in front of Ning Fan. Then she casually tore off a thin silk cloth and wrapped her body slightly with it. Then she sat beside Ning Fan. Every move of hers had activated her bewitching technique to the maximum. In addition, she deliberately exposed her naked body, which was enough to bewitch any man. She did not have a beautiful appearance, but she had great confidence in her body. She was good at observing men. When she met Ning Fan's eyes during the day, she could tell that Ning Fan had ulterior motives towards her. Naturally, she could not guess that Ning Fan wanted to pry some secrets from her. She only thought that Ning Fan was the same as other men who had taken a fancy to her body. She put on a loving expression on her face. However, her heart was filled with disdain and complacency at the same time. So what if Ning Fan is strong? Isn't he still the same as other men who are obsessed with lust and fall for my bait? So what if Yu Lingkong is strong? Isn't her man still bewitched by Yao Lian? Venerated Ming, I feel so uncomfortable. She leaned her body forward and fell into Ning Fan's arms. Her two soft, white breasts purposely rubbed against Ning Fan's chest. Her two lotus-like arms wrapped around Ning Fan's neck. As soon as she touched Ning Fan's body, Yao Lian's lust flared up again. She was only wrapped in a thin layer of silk cloth. Her lower body was completely naked. Moisture kept flowing out from between her two tender breasts. Strange. Why is my body so excited? It shouldn't be like this. When I was masturbating just now, I purposely made my body excited in order to reach the peak. Now, I want to seduce venerated Ming. I have already secretly activated my bewitching technique to prevent my body from being sensitive. Why did I lose control of my body as soon as I touched venerated Ming's body? Yao Lian was shocked. Only now did she remember that Ning Fan was not only a devil lord who killed people like scything flax, but also a devil lord who cultivated yin-yang devil veins for dual cultivation. She was very sure that Ning Fan did not take the initiative to use his bewitching technique on her. Just an accidental touch could make her body react. What level of bewitching technique is this? The level of Ning Fan's bewitching technique was far beyond Yao Lian's understanding. When she raised her head again, she met Ning Fan's cold and unchanging eyes. She was shocked once again. How is this possible? My seduction didn't work on him at all? At this moment, Yao Lian finally realized that the man in front of her was different from all the men she had met before. He was a ruthless person. Such a calm gaze without a trace of lust not only showed that Ning Fan was a man with a heart as cold as iron, but also showed that the reason why he came to find her tonight was absolutely unrelated to having sex with her. Venerated Ming, I wonder why you came to find me in the middle of the night? Yao Lian bit the tip of her tongue and dispersed her lust. Then, she sat up straight and no longer tried to seduce Ning Fan. She was not stupid. If Ning Fan did not come to have sex with her, she would probably anger him and be smashed into pieces by him with a single palm strike if she dared to seduce him. Her beautiful eyes were filled with a strong sense of defeat. She had always thought that she could toy with all the men in the world with her body. Today, however, she realized that there were some people that she could not afford to toy with. I have some questions that I want to ask you, Second Elder. If my questions are related to the secrets of your clan, you can choose not to answer me and just pretend that I never asked. Rest assured, Second Elder. I have a close relationship with the Giant Devil clan. The reason why I'm asking these questions is because I heard some rumors from the other 3 clans of the Hidden Ocean. Even if you don't tell me the truth, I won't dare to hate the Giant Devil clan. Hee hee. So the reason why venerated Ming came to visit me in the middle of the night is because you have something to talk about. If venerated Ming has any questions, you can ask me. As long as it's something that I can tell you, I will definitely tell you the truth. As for the things that I can't tell you, I won't dare to tell you even if venerated Ming forces me to. Even if venerated Ming searches my soul and memories, you won't be able to find my true memories. Yao Lian knew Ning Fan's personality very well. Killing people and searching their souls was just a common thing for him. She was very sensible. As long as it's something that she could tell him, she would tell him. As for the things that she couldn't tell him, she would not be able to say them even if she wanted to. Once she says them, she would die. Second Elder, may I ask if there's a devil concubine in the giant devil clan? Ning Fan's first question stunned Yao Lian. She wore a troubled look on her face. The traces of seals in her sea of consciousness seemed to be warning her, causing her sea of consciousness to feel intense pain. She naturally knew that a devil concubine had been born in the giant devil clan and that devil concubine was the daughter of the clan leader, Feng Shuin. However, this matter was forbidden by the 8 ancestors and they had set up a seal on her sea of consciousness. If Yao Lian divulges any information about it, her sea of consciousness would immediately shatter and she would die. She remained silent. However, the troubled look in her eyes had explained everything. Of course, she did not know that Ning Fan had the mind-reading technique. When she was deep in thought, he could see through all of her thoughts. Moreover, Ning Fan found out that all the masterminds were the 8 ancestors. Feng Shuin is indeed the devil concubine of the giant devil clan. Ning Fan's expression did not change, but his mind became even more certain about his guesses. He wished that he could directly ask Yao Lian who the 8 ancestors were and what was going on with the pseudo-samsara power. However, asking questions required skill. When he asked about the devil concubine, he did not ask whether Feng Shuian was the devil concubine. Instead, he asked whether the giant devil clan had a devil concubine. In this way, even if the conversation between Ning Fan and Yao Lian reaches the 8 ancestors' ears tonight, the fact that Ning Fan knew that Feng Shuian was the devil concubine would not be exposed. Who planted the seal on your sea of consciousness? Ning Fan did not directly ask about the 8 ancestors. However, by doing so, Yao Lian would certainly recall everything about the 8 ancestors in her mind. Even if the 8 ancestors knew that Ning Fan had asked the demonic lotus a question, they would only assume that Ning Fan was concerned about the demonic lotus and asked about the seal. No one would have thought that Ning Fan had already obtained information about the 8 ancestors. Forgive me for not being able to tell you. Yao Lian revealed a bitter smile. Each of the questions that Ning Fan asked was related to the supreme secrets of the giant devil clan. She could not tell them at all. Once she does, her sea of consciousness would immediately shatter and she would die. The 8 ancestors. They were the 8 ancestors of the giant devil clan. Each of them had a cultivation base above the void inquiry stage. Among the 8 ancestors, there was not only the father of the current clan leader, Zhu Yan, but also the 7 generations of experts of the clan before Zhu Yan. The 8 ancestors guarded the 8 gates, 6 Dao, boundless sea of sin formation. They hid in the giant devil broken world and sought a way out for the giant devil clan with their immortal bodies. At the cost of sacrificing Feng Shuian, the 8 ancestors intended to wash away the slave marks of their clansmen and wash away the shame of being a slave clan of the giant devil clan. The 8 ancestors had already taken out the devil statue slate from the devil statues and were studying the devil scripture on it. None of the 8 ancestors could fully understand the devil scripture. However, the original copy of the devil scripture on the slate had been passed down in the giant devil clan for a long time. It was left behind by the progenitor of the giant devil clan. Now, it was kept in the hands of Feng Shuian. The strongest among the 8 ancestors was not Zhu Yan but another void-pierced stage old ancestor. This old ancestor imitated samsara and created the pseudo-samsara power. His techniques were extraordinary. These were the supreme secrets of the giant devil clan. As the second elder of the clan, how could Yao Lian tell Ning Fan, an outsider? Even within the clan, only Fu Bai, Yao Lian and a few other elders knew about this. Even Zhu Qing, the clan leader of the giant devil clan, had his memories erased by the 8 ancestors. He did not know the reason why his daughter was harmed at all, and he was still serving the 8 ancestors wholeheartedly. Yao Lian would never tell Ning Fan any of these things. However, Ning Fan only needed to ask a question to make Yao Lian ponder over it, and he understood everything. His eyes were deep and profound. No one could see his expression, but his heart felt even colder. Very good. Now, I finally know who the enemy is. The 8 ancestors. The 8 ancestors of the giant devil clan. In order to wash away the slave marks of the giant devil clan, they had sacrificed everything. However, they intended to sacrifice Feng Shuiyan. Ning Fan would never allow this. Sacrificing one person in exchange for the benefit of the clan might be worth it. However, if the person to be sacrificed is you or your family, would you agree to it? At least, Ning Fan would not agree to it. He suddenly stood up and nodded at Yao Lian. Then he said coldly, "Farewell." He had only asked 2 questions, but he had obtained all the information. As for the 8 ancestors, even if they knew that he had asked Yao Lian 2 questions, they certainly did not know that he knew everything. Creak, the door of the room was pushed open and closed. Ning Fan had already disappeared without a trace. His departure made Yao Lian's tense body loosen up. Ning Fan's aura field was really terrifying. Even Yao Lian, who had seen countless things in the world, found it a little hard to bear. What a scary man. This kind of man is not someone I can get. If I touch him, I will definitely die. However, I have to admit that this man is the most outstanding person I have ever seen in my life. He really makes people's hearts move, calm and composed, huh? Yao Lian suddenly let out a self-mocking laugh. If she had never been so absurd, and if she was still a virgin, would she have the chance to get Ning Fan? When she thought about it, she suddenly felt that her life was really unbearable. Maybe I should change my lifestyle a little. Chapter 456. After Ning Fan left, Yao Lian went to a certain forbidden area overnight to report what happened tonight to the 8 ancestors. What she did not know was that Ning Fan just pretended to leave and followed her in a stealthy manner. He spent the whole night frowning outside the small kiliacosm where the 8 ancestors were hiding. Ning Fan could not enter that small kiliacosm. Outsiders could only enter it under the guidance of the people inside. Obviously, the 8 ancestors would not guide Ning Fan into the small kiliacosm. It was a top-secret forbidden area that was hidden in a dilapidated small kiliacosm. The small kiliacosm was pitch black. There was a vague flow of formation power. Nothing could be seen clearly. The only thing that could be seen clearly was the 8 gigantic stone pillars that were emitting a dim light in the darkness. On each of the stone pillars, there was an expert with black shadows sitting in a meditative posture. Each of them had a vast qi. However, none of them were alive. It was extremely strange. These 8 people were the 8 ancestors of the giant devil clan who had fallen in the past. However, they were still living in this small kiliacosm in a strange manner. Yao Lian's report did not attract the attention of the 8 ancestors. The 2 questions that Ning Fan asked Yao Lian did not contain any threat to the giant devil clan. Moreover, Yao Lian did not reveal anything. After a moment of silence, none of them held Ning Fan accountable. Only Zhu Yan felt puzzled about this matter. He had met Ning Fan once before. Even though it was just a quick glance, he was certain that Ning Fan was the same type of person as him. Ning Fan appeared to be broad-minded on the outside but was actually meticulous and good at scheming. According to his understanding of Ning Fan's action of interrogating Yao Lian tonight was very strange and illogical. As for Ning Fan, he would never do anything illogical. If he does something abnormal, it must be a demon. Zhu Yan had reminded Ning Fan not to interfere with Feng Shuiyan's matter that day. Zhu Yan pondered for a moment. Today, Ning Fan really did not mention anything about Feng Shuiyan when he interrogated Yao Lian. Did that young man really listen to his warning? If it's not for Yan Er, why did he go to find Yao Lian? Zhu Yan was puzzled. In the end, he put this matter to the back of his mind. No matter what, he and the other 7 ancestors still had important matters to deal with. After all, Ning Fan did not touch the greatest secret of the Giant Devil Clan, and he had done the Giant Devil Clan a favor. Zhu Yan would not go so far as to plot against Ning Fan. Let's put Zhou Ming's matter aside. A mere half-step void refinement realm cultivator is not worth mentioning. Yao Lian, report what happened in the pill ceremony first. Beside Zhu Yan, there was another old man with a black shadow. His aura was even vaster than Zhu Yan's, and his voice was hoarse. There was a ghostly evil aura about him that made Evil Lotus feel extremely uncomfortable. As soon as he spoke, the other 7 patriarchs all quieted down. This person was clearly the leader of the 8 patriarchs. Evil Lotus immediately reported the various matters of the pill ceremony. The night passed peacefully. Ning Fan returned to the West Tower and sat cross-legged on the bed, sorting out his thoughts. He had learned countless secrets from the heart of the Evil Lotus. He knew how strong the 8 ancestors were. Among them, there were 6 Void Inquiry stage experts and 2 Void Pierce stage experts. Ning Fan was not a match for them. This was undoubtedly bad news. If Ning Fan wants to save Feng Shuiyan from the hands of the 8 ancestors, he would need to possess greater strength. Of course, there was also a piece of good news for him. The blood of Mo Luo within Feng Shuiyan's body had completely condensed, and it would take at least 10 years before he could extract her blood. In other words, within 10 years, Feng Shuiyan would not be in any danger. Moreover, the 8 ancestors would secretly protect her like a treasure. However, 10 years later, the 8 ancestors would certainly take action against Feng Shuiyan. At that time, unless Ning Fan's strength improves tremendously, he would not be able to save Feng Shuiyan. 10 years? Within 10 years, the blood wine can be brewed. By then, I wonder if I can break through to the Void Refinement Realm in one go after consuming the blood wine. Attaining the Void Refinement Realm is too difficult. However, attaining the Golden Body Refining Realm is relatively easy. As long as I can find the remaining 3 Devil Slates and obtain 3 traces of Devil Chi, I am confident that I can attain the Golden Body Refining Realm within 10 years. No matter what, I can't call Feng Shuiyan brother-in-law for nothing. I won't allow the 8 ancestors of the Giant Devil Clan to touch her. Ning Fan remembered that the Devil Statue Slate was currently in the hands of the 8 ancestors. He wondered if he could get close to the slate and extract the Devil Chi from it. I can't enter the small Kiliacosm where the 8 ancestors live. I still need to think about this Devil Statue Slate of the Giant Devil Clan. Now, my focus should be on improving my pill refinement mastery. If I want to improve my cultivation realm within 10 years, my pill refinement mastery must not fall behind. Ning Fan was well aware of the fact that he could live for 1,000 years even though he had a notorious reputation. His current strength had already made him famous in the Rain World. However, it was still not enough. It was far from enough. He must possess the strength to trample over the entire Rain World. Only then could he stand shoulder to shoulder with Moksha Sovereign. As the morning light shone through the curtains, Ning Fan went to look for his women one by one. After giving them some instructions, he asked Yu Lingkong to bring along the 4 mystical beasts and take care of their safety. As for himself, he began to prepare for the grand competition of the pill ceremony. First of all, he must get into the top 3 of the pill ceremony and become one of the 3 pill refinement masters who will concoct pills for Feng Shuiyan. He was a little worried. He did not know what the so-called life-saving pill was. Thus, he must concoct the pill for Feng Shuiyan personally in order to make sure that no one would harm her. The cold northern country was hosting the pill ceremony. Within that country, it was unknown how many famous pill refinement masters of the Rain World had gathered. In the Eternal Peace Pavilion of the province, countless old monsters gathered there. They were buying, selling, and exchanging pill recipes, spiritual medicines, and many other items. The Eternal Peace Pavilion was a business that belonged directly to the Giant Devil Clan. All the profits from the sale of spiritual medicines would belong to the clan. In order to satisfy the needs of many pill refinement masters, the Eternal Peace Pavilion had purposely opened an additional floor for trading. Pill refinement masters were allowed to set up their own stalls there to purchase or sell pills and spiritual medicines. As the pill ceremony was approaching, many pill refinement masters were purchasing spiritual medicines in preparation for the pill ceremony. Naturally, there were many old monsters who came to sell spiritual medicines, pill recipes, and medicinal cauldrons. Some precious spiritual medicines were not sold by anyone. Thus, pill refinement masters could only trade with each other. Perhaps the spiritual medicines that I lack are of little value to other pill refinement masters? In just a few days, Ning Fan had traveled across 70 million li of the cold northern country. A few days later, he arrived at the Eternal Peace Pavilion. Of course, he was there to purchase spiritual medicines. Whether it was to prepare for the pill ceremony or to collect the main ingredients for the revered devil pill that could improve one's body refinement realm, he had to come here to have a look. In order to break through to the golden body refining realm as soon as possible, Ning Fan not only needed to collect the remaining 3 devil statue slates but also needed to concoct the revered devil pill. The revered devil pill was a high-grade 5th revolution devil pill. With Ning Fan's pill refinement mastery, he could also concoct it. However, he was still lacking 3 main ingredients: the 10,000 years old ghost aconite, 10,000 years old purple stone ear, and 10,000 years old purple river placenta. Putting aside the ghost aconite and purple stone ear, Ning Fan had also found some of them before. It was just that their age did not meet the requirement. However, the 10,000 years old purple river placenta. The so-called purple river placenta was actually a placenta. It would only take shape after 10,000 years of nourishment by killing people using a secret technique of the devil path. The process was rather vicious. In the 800 cultivation countries of the rain world, the devil sects were already weak. Thus, the 10,000 years old purple river placenta had long gone extinct. Even in the endless sea, a place where devil cultivators ran rampant, it was rare to find a 10,000 years old purple river placenta. As soon as Ning Fan arrived at the Eternal Peace Pavilion, he was immediately received by the Pavilion Master himself. The Pavilion Master was a peak nascent soul realm cultivator. In the giant devil clan, he was also considered as a person with a high status. He had already witnessed Ning Fan trampling on Shirkuan and saving the giant devil clan. Thus, he admired Ning Fan a lot. Moreover, he had also received an order from Zhu Qing that once Ning Fan comes to the Eternal Peace Pavilion to purchase treasures, he could directly take away whatever he likes without charging a single cent compared to the kindness of saving an entire clan, what were mere treasures worth. The Pavilion Master told Ning Fan about Zhu Qing's good intentions. Ning Fan nodded his head and did not say anything else. If he sees something that he is satisfied with, he would immediately take it away. He would not be courteous with the giant devil clan. The Eternal Peace Pavilion had 5 floors. The first floor sold pills, the second floor sold pill cauldrons, the third floor sold pill recipes, and the fourth floor sold spiritual herbs. The 5th floor was a temporary trading pavilion for pill refinement masters. It allowed cultivators to set up their stalls and trade on their own. The Pavilion Master brought Ning Fan to visit the first 4 floors. Along the way, all the cultivators they met bowed respectfully to Ning Fan when they saw him. Then they hurriedly excused themselves. Their faces were filled with humility and respect. Ning Fan's infamy was too terrifying. How could ordinary cultivators dare to provoke him? They did not even dare to have the slightest relationship with him. Ning Fan did not care about the reverence of these cultivators at all. The pills in the Eternal Peace Pavilion did not interest him at all. As for the pill cauldrons, most of them were far superior to the Dan fragmentation cauldron in the past. However, as a 5th revolution pill master, Ning Fan could condense a cauldron using his spirit intent. Pill cauldrons were dispensable. Thus, he did not buy them. As for the pill recipes, he did not hold back. He took a fancy to several 4th and 5th revolution pill recipes. Without hesitation, the Pavilion Master directly asked someone to engrave their names on them and gave them to Ning Fan. On the 4th floor, Ning Fan found the 10,000 years old ghost aconite and the 10,000 years old purple stone ear. To Ning Fan, it was a good thing that he could find the 2 main ingredients of the revered devil pill. Ning Fan asked for all of the 2 types of 10,000 years old spiritual herbs in the Eternal Peace Pavilion. There were 14 tufts of ghost aconite and 17 tufts of purple stone ear. These spiritual herbs were extremely valuable. However, the Eternal Peace Pavilion naturally did not dare to collect money from Ning Fan. After walking through the first 4 floors, Ning Fan still wanted to go to the 5th floor. The 5th floor was a place where cultivators traded on their own. Even if the pavilion master follows him there, he would not be able to provide much help. Thus, he took his leave first. Ning Fan walked to the 5th floor alone. On the 5th floor, there was an extremely spacious main hall. The main hall could accommodate 10,000 people. There were hundreds of shops on all 4 sides of the hall. Each of the shops was guarded by a pill refinement master. Some of them were hanging wooden signs outside the shops to purchase some spiritual herbs. Some of them were filled with spiritual herbs and pill recipes, waiting for customers to trade with them. On the 5th floor, there was a group of devil guards of the giant devil clan. There were more than 100 of them, and each of their chi was profound and vast. The leader of the devil guards was a late divine transformation realm burly man. His vast aura force deterred each of the pill refinement masters who were trading with him. He did not allow anyone to snatch treasures or kill in this place. A late divine transformation realm old monster was a peak expert in the endless sea. The eyes of the leader of the devil guards were filled with arrogance. His cold gaze swept across the surroundings. Even the pill refinement masters who had their eyes on the top of their heads felt a little suffocated when his gaze landed on them. They did not dare to look him in the eye. This man's gaze is really sharp. Who is he? A pill refinement master who came from the 800 cultivation countries asked in a low voice. Fellow Taoist, you might not know this, but he is the commander of the Death Devil Guards, the strongest devil guard among the 8 Gates devil guards of the giant devil clan. His name is Commander Death Devil. Rumor has it that he is extremely strong. He had once killed a late divine transformation realm cultivator who is at the same level as him. Another old monster explained. What? This man can even kill a late divine transformation realm cultivator? We are selling spiritual herbs here. We must not offend this man. A late divine transformation realm cultivator is as rare as a phoenix feather and a unicorn horn in the rain world. Many pill refinement masters looked at Commander Death Devil with instinctive respect. Commander Death Devil's cultivation base was extremely strong. He was cold and bloodthirsty. No one dared to offend him. Even some divine transformation realm old monsters were not willing to offend him. Many pill refinement masters greeted Commander Death Devil, but all of them were chased away by him coldly. He was cold and unapproachable. However, when Ning Fan appeared on the 5th floor, Commander Death Devil, who was wearing a cold expression, suddenly wore a respectful expression. He knelt down in front of Ning Fan with respect that came from the bottom of his heart. The commander of the Death Devil Guards, Death Devil, greets venerated Ming. Thank you for saving me, Giant Devil Clan. As soon as he knelt down, the 100 devil guards behind him also knelt down and paid their respects to Ning Fan. There's no need to be so courteous. Ning Fan nodded his head with a calm expression. The scene of a dignified late divine transformation realm old monster kneeling down in front of someone shocked countless people. When their eyes fell on Ning Fan, they were immediately shocked. They immediately understood why Death Devil, who had always been cold, would be so respectful to Ning Fan. Some young pill refinement masters who had just entered the cold northern country and did not know Ning Fan's appearance were extremely shocked. Who is this white-robed young man? He can actually make a late divine transformation realm cultivator kneel down in front of him. What? You don't even know him? He is Zhou Ming. He is the one who killed the country lord of Shirle country. What? He is Zhou Ming? He is so young. He is only 500 years old, but he can already kill a void glimpse stage expert. Voices of astonishment spread across the 5th floor. At this moment, some pill masters who did not know Ning Fan remembered Ning Fan's appearance and reminded themselves in their hearts that they must never provoke this person. In a spiritual herb shop, an old Taoist wearing a tattered robe revealed a playful look in his eyes. His whole body was dirty and his white hair and beard were messy. He looked like a slovenly man. There was a 3rd Revolution badge of the Rain Palace hanging on his chest. He seemed to have come from the 800 cultivation countries. His cultivation level seemed to be at the late stage of the nascent soul realm, but it was a little weak. There were good and bad spirit medicines that he sold, but they were all extremely expensive, so no one was interested in them. This kid has the immortal fire body? His medicine soul isn't weak and is at the high grade of the fifth revolution. However, his Tao of alchemy seems to be rather heterogeneous. River Tao, Three Purities Tao, Blazing Blood Tao. This kid has a lot of them but isn't proficient in them. If he wants to reach the sixth revolution, he is still lacking a lot. The old Taoist muttered to himself and shook his head. It was as if Ning Fan's Tao of pill refinement was not worth mentioning in his eyes. However, his cloudy eyes suddenly quivered, as if he had sensed something from Ning Fan's body. Then, a ray of light flashed across his eyes. His aura was no weaker than a Taishu old monster, but no one noticed it. This is the Black Demon Flame. Chapter 457. After exchanging a few pleasantries with the Death Devil guards, Ning Fan left them behind and went to the 5th floor alone to purchase herbs. Commander CMO cupped his fists and bowed respectfully. Only when Ning Fan had walked far away did he straighten his back again. His cold and indifferent expression returned to his face, not showing any friendliness to anyone. He had a proud and aloof personality. This kind of arrogance would only make him submit to Ning Fan. On that day, Ning Fan appeared out of nowhere and killed the king of Shirlu country. His domineering strength had subdued countless experts of the giant devil clan. There were a lot of people who admired Ning Fan like the dead devil. Ning Fan gradually walked further away. His mind was pondering over the name of the Death Devil Guard. Within the giant demon clan, there were 8 great demon guards. They were named after the 8 gates of the Chimen Duanjia. They were open, rest, life, shang, du jing, death and jing. The information that Ning Fan stole from Yao Lian also mentioned the 8 gates. The giant devil clan's 8 ancestors were hiding in the small Kiliacosm fragment world and oversaw the 8 gates and 6 Tao. Most of the cultivation techniques and magical arts of the giant devil clan were related to the 8 gates. As for the 6 Taos, it seemed like most of the cultivation techniques of the 6-winged clan were related to the 6 Taos. 8 gates, 6 Taos, giant devil 6 wings. What is the connection between them for the time being? Ning Fan cast these thoughts aside. He bought herbs from hundreds of temporary medicine shops on the 5th floor. After 2 hours, he had visited 2/3 of the medicine shops and bought a lot of good herbs. Unfortunately, after strolling for so long, he still hadn't encountered a 10,000-year-old human placenta. He did come across a few thousand-year-old human placentas and bought them, but he wasn't satisfied with them. If a 1,000-year placenta was used instead of a 10,000-year one, not only would it be more difficult to refine the revered devil pill, even if the pill was successfully refined, the medicinal efficacy would definitely be lower. Ning Fan gently shook his head. If I really can't find a 10,000 years old human placenta here, I'll just wait until the future. If I can't buy it in the future, I'll just have to make do with a 1,000-year-old one. He turned around and was about to leave when he suddenly stopped in his tracks, his eyes slightly shocked. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly felt a sharp gaze sweep over him. His entire body trembled, and the hair on his back stood on end. What a dangerous gaze! Who was sizing him up? The sharpness of that gaze was comparable to that of a void fragmentation realm expert. Moreover, it was a notch higher than that of Yun Jinghong and Chu Chang, and who were at the void fragmentation realm. Could it be that a void fragmentation realm old monster is spying on me? Ning Fan abruptly turned around and looked behind him. His eyes landed on a medicine shop. An old Taoist in a dirty and tattered robe was sitting in that medicine shop. He was fanning himself with a palm leaf fan and a leisurely expression on his face as he meditated with his eyes closed. He seemed to have closed his eyes for a very long time. He did not check on Ning Fan at all. Ning Fan's eyes turned solemn. He secretly spread out his spirit sense to check the man's cultivation base and found out that he was at the late nascent soul realm. Even after activating Fu Li and Mo Luo's eye, he still could not detect any signs of this person concealing his cultivation. When Ning Fan looked at the Rain Palace's third revolution badge that he was wearing, he frowned slightly. The badges of the Rain Palace's alchemists would not be given out randomly. Moreover, every badge must be recognized by a drop of blood. Each badge would only recognize one master. If the badge was taken away by others, it would immediately shatter. The badge that the old Taoist was wearing was the Rain Palace Pill Master's badge. Not only was it a genuine badge, but it was also a brand new item. It was obvious that he had just received it not long ago. It was impossible for the Rain Palace to falsify the pill refinement technique of a pill refinement master. Judging from all the signs, this old Taoist should be a third revolution pill master without a doubt. However, Ning Fan always felt that there was something strange about this old Taoist. When he carefully checked on him, he was even more certain that there was something strange about him. It was because the moment he looked at the old Taoist, the devil flame in his dantian trembled slightly, giving off a feeling as if it was facing a great enemy. Ning Fan's devil flame sensed a similar threat from the old Taoist's body. What kind of flame was inside the old Taoist's body that could make Ning Fan's devil flame feel fear? Ning Fan's devil flame was formed by the fusion of 16 types of heavenly cold earth flames and one type of 6th grade void flame. Its destructive power was not inferior to the mid-7th grade immortal void flame. If there was any flame inside the old Taoist's body that could make the devil flame feel fear, it would at least be a flame that was at the 7th revolution or above. Could a late nascent soul realm 3rd revolution pill master possess a flame of this level? The answer was, of course, no. Ning Fan almost immediately confirmed that this old Taoist was the mysterious expert who was spying on him just now. Could this ordinary-looking old Taoist be a void fragmentation realm expert? If ordinary people find out about the old Taoist's void fragmentation realm aura force, most of them would immediately go up to him to flatter him and ask for opportunities. However, Ning Fan withdrew his strange expression in just an instant. He did not look at the old Taoist anymore and turned around to leave. He did not want to expose the fact that he had recognized the old Taoist's void fragmentation realm aura force. He did not want to have anything to do with this mysterious old man. God knows why this old man was spying on him and why he appeared in this place. In short, Ning Fan did not want to get involved in unnecessary troubles. At the moment when Ning Fan left decisively, the old man's closed eyes suddenly opened and revealed a hint of surprise. This young man's senses are really sharp. He actually sensed that I possess a 7th grade spiritual fire and determined my identity as a void fragmentation realm cultivator. Moreover, this young man clearly determined my identity as a void fragmentation realm cultivator, but his expression did not change. He just turned around and left. Obviously, he does not want to have anything to do with me. He is probably afraid of getting into trouble. This is very good. One should be cautious in order to stand in this world, as expected of the person who possesses the black demon flame. The old Taoist shook his head and smiled with satisfaction. The reason why he came to the pill ceremony of the Internal Endless Sea was because he had been in seclusion for too long. He wanted to travel around and gain some insights to break through his pill refinement realm, which had been shackled for a long time. However, he did not expect to meet the owner of the black demon flame here. In that case, it seemed like he should take this opportunity to fulfill his promise with that person. "Little friend, please wait." The old Taoist called out to Ning Fan indifferently. Many people in the surroundings looked at him as if they were looking at a fool when they heard the old Taoist calling Ning Fan little friend. Who was Ning Fan? He was a ruthless person who could kill a void refinement realm being. Even ordinary divine transformation realm cultivators would have to call him senior when they see him. This old Taoist, on the other hand, actually dared to call Ning Fan little friend, with just his nascent soul realm cultivation base and the identity of a 3rd revolution pill master. Is he itching for a beating, or is he tired of living? Ning Fan's eyes turned serious. It seems like trouble has come knocking on his door. Even though he did not know why the old Taoist stopped him, it would be inappropriate for him to leave now that things had come to this. Ning Fan simply turned his head and smiled. He did not leave but walked towards the old Taoist's herb garden. He just did not want to get into trouble, and he had not done anything wrong. Thus, he was not afraid that this void fragmentation realm old Taoist would come looking for trouble. He finally had the inextinguishable fire body, which could save his life. He would be safe and sound in the rain world. "Senior, what can I do for you?" Ning Fan stopped outside the herb garden and cupped his fists to greet the old Taoist. This scene stunned each of the pill refinement masters who were watching the scene. Ning Fan was such an incredible person, but he actually addressed an old Taoist as senior. Where did this old Taoist come from? A few pill refinement masters from the 800 cultivation countries carefully examined the old Taoist's appearance. After seeing him clearly, each of them looked as if they had seen a ghost. They finally understood why Ning Fan would address an old Taoist as senior, despite his dignified identity. "It's Didan." One of the pill refinement master's eyes were burning with excitement. He was so excited that he could not speak a word. "Fellow Taoist, please be careful with your words. This lord dislikes publicity the most. Since he appeared here in a low-profile manner, he naturally did not want to attract the attention of others. Let's not make any noise and leave quickly. Don't make him unhappy," another pill refinement master reminded. The group of pill refinement masters from the 800 cultivation countries did not dare to reveal the old Taoist's identity. Each of them bowed respectfully to the old Taoist and left hurriedly. As for the pill refinement masters from the Endless Sea who were watching from the side, they more or less had good judgment. When they saw how respectful Ning Fan was to the old Taoist and how many pill refinement masters from the 800 cultivation countries were showing him respect, they knew that the old Taoist had a powerful background. Thus, they did not dare to offend him. After cupping their fists, they left one by one. In the blink of an eye, only Ning Fan and the old Taoist were left outside the herb garden. "Little friend, your willpower is not bad." The old Taoist praised sincerely. "Thank you for your praise, Senior Li. May I know why Senior has summoned me?" From the reaction of the crowd, Ning Fan was even more certain that this old Taoist was a void fragmentation realm old monster. He could even roughly guess the identity of this person. The number of void fragmentation realm experts in the rain world could be counted with one's fingers. Just now, when someone saw the old Taoist, he called out the word, "pill." Among the void fragmentation realm experts in the rain world, there was only one person whose name started with the word, pill. The pill sovereign, Li Tsungtian. If Ning Fan was not mistaken, the old man in front of him was the pill sovereign. Rumor had it that the pill sovereign had been in seclusion for a long time, trying to break through to the 7th revolution pill refinement realm. Ning Fan could vaguely guess that the reason why the pill sovereign came to the internal endless sea was to travel around and gain enlightenment. Rumor has it that the pill sovereign wholeheartedly immersed himself in the Tao of pill refinement. He was not interested in otherworldly affairs. Rumor has it that the pill sovereign was the leader of the, for great void fragmentation realm, experts. His cultivation base was at the 3rd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm, and his pill refinement mastery was at the peak of the 6th revolution. However, he had never intervened in any battles. This person was magnanimous and had the demeanor of an elder. He would never kill the innocent. That was also the reason why Ning Fan was slightly at ease after he guessed the identity of this person. He was not worried that this person would plot against him. After guessing the identity of this person, Ning Fan did not address him as Pill Sovereign. Instead, he addressed him as Senior Li. Of course, he wanted to help the Pill Sovereign keep a low profile and not expose his identity. The Pill Sovereign nodded his head in satisfaction at the way Ning Fan addressed him. Firstly, he was satisfied with Ning Fan's intelligence. In just a few breaths, Ning Fan was able to guess his identity and figure out his intentions. Secondly, he was satisfied with Ning Fan's calmness. This kind of calmness was definitely not something an ordinary person could possess. The Pill Sovereign noticed that Ning Fan was only slightly surprised when he noticed that someone was spying on him. After that, even when he guessed the identity of the Pill Sovereign, Ning Fan did not show any expression on his face. His eyes were like a deep pool of water without any fluctuations. His mind was calm and unwavering. This kind of calmness could only be possessed by a cultivator who had seen countless grand scenes and experienced countless dangers. The Pill Sovereign was already convinced that Ning Fan was a person with a firm Tao heart. He was indeed worthy of being that person's disciple. He did not embarrass that person. Little friend, you don't have to worry. I don't have any evil intentions in calling you over. Instead, I have some good karma with you. I once received some benefits from an old friend of mine and made a promise with him to guide you in pill refinement 3 times. Today, we coincidentally met in the cold northern country. It can also be considered fate. I would like to guide you in pill refinement. I wonder if you are willing to learn from me? The Pill Sovereign nodded slightly with a smile. Even though he was dressed sloppily, he had an ethereal aura around him which made him look like an immortal. It was the aura of a pill refinement grandmaster. His temperament was like a green lotus growing in the mud. Ning Fan's eyes flashed with surprise. He knew that the Pill Sovereign did not have any evil intentions in calling him over. However, he also thought that the Pill Sovereign had something to ask him. However, he did not expect that the Pill Sovereign actually wanted to guide him in pill refinement. Ning Fan had never had any master in his entire path of cultivating the Tao of pill refinement. Even though he had Old Devil as his master, he was not proficient in pill refinement. Thus, it was naturally impossible for him to teach Ning Fan how to concoct pills. From the bottom of his heart, Ning Fan was very willing to accept the Pill Sovereign's guidance. Even though he was proud and aloof, he was not arrogant. At least, he knew very well that his current pill refinement mastery was just like the light of a firefly compared to the bright moon. It was not worth mentioning. The Pill Sovereign was the #1 pill refinement master in the Rain World. He was a person whose name shook the entire 9 worlds. Countless pill refinement masters yearned for the Pill Sovereign's guidance. However, even though the Pill Sovereign had an easygoing personality, he rarely guided others in pill refinement. Now that the Pill Sovereign was willing to guide Ning Fan 3 times, it was definitely a great thing. It could greatly improve Ning Fan's pill refinement mastery. However, Ning Fan had a question. Before this question was resolved, he could not accept the Pill Sovereign's kindness recklessly. Senior Li, may I ask who is the one who asked you to guide me? Ning Fan's heart tightened. He really wanted to know who was the one who cared about him, and even asked the Pill Sovereign to be his temporary teacher. In the Rain World, Ning Fan had countless beauties but only a few relatives. Who was the one who cared about him and even had the ability to ask the Pill Sovereign for help? I can't say. His identity is special. As a member of the Rain Palace, I can't have too much of a relationship with him. Otherwise, it will violate the heavenly rules of the 4 heavens. The Pill Sovereign smiled and shook his head. Then I will ask you in another way. How can you be sure that I am the one who asked Senior for help? The Black Demon Flame. The Black Demon Flame that carries a trace of his chi. As soon as the Pill Sovereign's words fell, a warm current flowed through Ning Fan's body. Ning Fan gently closed his eyes and revealed a faint smile. The Black Demon Flame. As expected, the Old Devil is concerned about me. Ever since the Old Devil accepted Ning Fan as his disciple, he rarely taught him magic techniques. However, he had been teaching Ning Fan the way to survive as a devil cultivator. It was because the Old Devil believed that compared to learning magic techniques, learning how to behave and being a proper devil cultivator was more important. Although Moksha Sovereign learned magic techniques well, he did not learn how to behave properly. That was why he went astray. It was the Old Devil's lifelong regret. The time that the Old Devil spent with Ning Fan was short, but he had already taught Ning Fan all of his devil Tao. However, the Old Devil still felt guilty towards Ning Fan. He went to the Sword World in a hurry and did not have the chance to teach Ning Fan magic techniques. He knew that Ning Fan's talent in pill refinement was astonishing. In the past, he was already a 4th Revolution pill refinement master in 7 Apricot City. The Old Devil did not want to ruin Ning Fan's talent. Thus, he paid a huge price to invite the Pill Sovereign to be Ning Fan's master in pill refinement. Master? Thank you. Ning Fan opened his eyes. A trace of warmth lingered in his heart for a long time. The path of cultivation was cruel and lonely. However, these shackles would be what Ning Fan relied on to stain the world with his blood and not lose his original heart. Since it's master's wish, I won't dare to disobey. Senior, please teach me pill refinement techniques. Hee. You are a promising child. The pill sovereign nodded his head in satisfaction. He could see the gratitude in Ning Fan's eyes. The relationship between the two of them was like that of a father and son. In the cold and indifferent cultivation world, it was really rare. Many masters and disciples had turned against each other and killed each other for some benefits. They were so cold-blooded and cruel. The pill sovereign did not have any disciples. How he wished to have a disciple like Ning Fan who would sincerely serve his master like a father. Unfortunately, Ning Fan had already become the disciple of the old devil. Even if the pill sovereign taught Ning Fan pill refinement techniques, he could only be considered as half a master. That old man Han had extracted a quarter of the pure yang flame from the pure yang coffin and gifted it to me. That was why I agreed to teach you. Initially, I was planning to travel to your country to look for you after I come out from my seclusion. However, I did not expect to meet you in the internal endless sea. I didn't expect the famous devil lord Zhou Ming to be little friend Ning Fan whom old man Han was concerned about. The pill sovereign transmitted his voice to Ning Fan. He did not have a deep relationship with the old devil. However, both of them were sentimental people. Thus, they could appreciate each other. Moreover, the old devil had given the pill sovereign a quarter of the pure yang flame. One should know that the pure yang flame was an immortal flame. Even if it was only a quarter of the pure yang flame, its destructive power was already stronger than ordinary mid-grade 7th grade immortal void flame. It was no wonder that Ning Fan's flame would be afraid of the pill sovereign's flame. After all, the pill sovereign possessed a quarter of the immortal flame. Master actually consumed a quarter of the pure yang coffin's flame for me. Ning Fan's eyes widened in shock. His heart felt a little sour. The pure yang coffin was the coffin that the old monster used to store his beloved wife's body. It was a pure yang boundary treasure. If the pure yang coffin lost a quarter of its immortal fire, its might would be greatly reduced. Although it might not have much of an impact on his wife's deep sleep, it would still have a small impact. The old monster was sacrificing the small benefits of his beloved wife to fight for Ning Fan's greater benefits. He was telling Ning Fan that he indeed hoped that Ning Fan could save his wife. However, in his heart, Ning Fan was equally important. He would not sell his life for his wife. This was the old monster's principle. Ning Fan became even more determined. He must possess the strength to sweep across the entire rain world and kill Moksha sovereign to avenge his master. After remaining silent for a while, Ning Fan calmed himself down and returned to his usual self. Then, he said to the pill sovereign respectfully, "Dare I ask, Senior Li, what alchemy technique will you teach this junior today?" There's no hurry. Come and take a look. Is there anything strange about the spiritual herbs that I'm selling? Take a look and see if there's a 10,000 years old human placenta that you're looking for. Ning Fan followed the pill sovereign's instructions and began to examine the spiritual herbs in the herb garden. Some of the spiritual herbs were quite old while some of them were low-grade herbs. However, no matter what kind of spiritual herbs they were, their prices were ridiculously high. Moreover, Ning Fan scanned his surroundings and did not find any 10,000 years old human placenta. There was not even a 1,000 years old or 100 years old human placenta. Senior, there isn't a 10,000 years old human placenta in the shop. Really? The pill sovereign's smile instantly vanished and his expression turned extremely serious. At the next moment, a dark purple medicine soul swept across the entire herb garden. This dark purple medicine soul was infinitely close to the 7th revolution medicine soul. Its strength gave Ning Fan a suffocating feeling. However, what was strange was that when he displayed his medicine soul technique, the pill sovereign who was rumored to be at the 3rd heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm only revealed his absolute void stage cultivation base. This medicine soul and aura force were deliberately controlled by the pill sovereign. Other than Ning Fan, no one in the entire 5th floor of the Eternal Peace Pavilion knew that the pill sovereign had activated his medicine soul. As the pill sovereign's medicine soul spread out, a stalk of ordinary Ganoderma suddenly trembled and shed its disguise, turning back into the appearance of a 10,000 years old human placenta. Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. He finally knew what was so strange about this herb garden. In this herb garden, be it good herbs or bad herbs, all of them were disguised and their true appearances were hidden. Among them, there was even a 10,000 years old human placenta that Ning Fan needed. Could it be that the first lesson that the pill sovereign was going to teach Ning Fan was the usage of his medicine soul? That you're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.